What's happening, weirdos? This is the incredible, the incomparable, the world famous Lisa Loeb, who you probably know or were introduced to her, like I was, from her song Stay from the movie Reality Bites. We get into that a little bit. But she's also currently making incredible music, including with her group Lisa Loeb and the Hollow Trees, a kids album called That's What It's All About, which Leela is a big fan. And her newest grown-up album is called A Simple Trick to Happiness. Lisa Loeb, check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you're listening to your music. Whomever you're listening to your music. But she is incredible. If you'd like to see her online, go to lisaloeb.com. Online, live. If you'd like to see me live, go to peteholmes.com. We have Buffalo, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, and Denver all on the site right now. We should maybe have even added by now Portland and Seattle in December. So hope to see you guys out. Go to peteholmes.com. I'm also going to be at Largo Thursday, September 26th. Go to largo-la.com. That's where I'm working out my new hour. The hour that I'm touring is the new hour, meaning it hasn't been filmed or aired anywhere, so it'll be new. And the one that I'm working on that's after that will be what I'm doing at Largo. So if you want to see that fresh, that I'm really happy with, go to largo-la.com. The next one is on September 26th. All right, everybody. I'm glad you're here. Lisa Loeb, come on. Get into it. No, a double doesn't count, and this is how we're starting with me asserting that this double doesn't count.
It totally counts.
We just had a baby.
It's okay. I've met people for the first time.
We just had a baby.
Barry
You're
Manilow.
not forgettable.
I met Barry Manilow.
It's exciting to meet you. Barry Manilow?
I met Barry Manilow.
Did you ask him about the rumor?
What?
Didn't Barry Manilow have...
Oh, did he have a rumor?
Or was that Rod Stewart?
Oh, Rod Stewart.
Sorry, Barry.
I saw Rod Stewart once at school. He was one of the grandfathers. That's what happens in Los Angeles. You know, he's like a grandfather at a school, so he shows up at assemblies or stuff.
Oh, for the grandchild.
Yeah, for the grandchild.
Literally
in
a
Los Angeles. Literally, he's the grandfather.
Not like a term.
No.
Like
not like a
honorary grandfather.
He
was a
something.
He's a grandfather.
He was literally like the grandfather who showed up to
Rod
see
Stewart.
The assembly or whatever.
Still frosting them tips?
Yeah, he looks good. He was super cute. This was years ago. But so I met Barry Manilow at this thing, at this BMI event. BMI is the organization that helps collect royalties from musicians.
Yeah.
And they have these great events, and it's really sweet, and they've been really a big deal for me in my life, for my career. So I always do the events. But so they were honoring Barry Manilow, and I went over and I got my picture with him, and I was so excited because I love the song Mandy especially, and I'm a child of the 70s. And I'm like, oh my God, Barry Manilow, this is so exciting. And I told him how exciting it was to meet him, and we got our picture. And then a while later, I was looking through some photo albums, some old. I had those.
You had.
I like the Polaroids from the late '90s. I think they were the tiny ones. They brought them back.
Yeah, baby ones.
But so I used to do a lot of like selfies with that, and I found a Polaroid of me with the first time I met Barry Manilow. Other first time I met Barry Manilow, and this happens to me quite a bit.
Well, look, the reason I was letting myself off the hook for having met you before. One. Have we met twice? Were you at the
We've probably met
room,
other times.
Green room of Conan, probably?
I've been at the green room anytime at Conan. We have probably lots in the Venn diagram of friends. We probably have it looks like a spirograph.
Yeah.
Of a Venn diagram.
But
I will say, I remember that,
It looks like 9 times we've met.
Dante's Hell. We actually look back. We've met each other a lot. I know I have a friend, Amy, who's always like, remember that time Paul Rudd was talking to you?
Paul Rudd?
And he was flirting. I was like, what? Tell me about it. Tell me about what.
Well, yeah, tell me the tale.
Tell me what happened. Tell me what happened to us, because I don't remember any of it.
You must have one of those lives. I mean,
I do.
Tell me about meeting Dave Matthews.
Oh, I remember meeting Dave Matthews.
Go ahead.
I don't know if he remembers.
You think it was the first time?
I think it was the first. I don't know how many times I met him, but I remember it was I think this is when I did my friends Juan and Amy and everyone around me. They're like, no. What actually happened?
Yeah.
What I remember happening was, I think we were at a Grammy party in the 90s or mid 90s. I don't know if it was at this special party that what's the guy's name who shot somebody ended up in jail?
Alec
a big
Baldwin.
Producer. No, the producer. Like, this is from.
I wasn't trying to be funny.
I thought
90s,
this is from the 90s,
90s.
or like
He went to jail?
Yeah, he went to jail. Oh my gosh, my brain.
Suge Knight?
No, even way before that. He was a popular producer.
A producer who shot someone?
I am so embarrassed
Katie's
right now.
gonna Google
my
it.
brain. Yeah. You know, his wife was a famous singer, and I covered her song "Be My Baby."
Be My Little Baby?
Be My Baby.
But you can...
Phil Spector. It was Phil Spector would have a big Grammy party every year.
007 Spectre?
Phil Spector.
Phil Spector.
Phil Spector. He's like a big producer. He did all the like songs back in the olden days with like the slapback reverb.
And then he shot somebody?
Yeah. I think there's like movies about it and stuff. He killed a woman. He was in jail. But anyway, so at his party, everybody would be there, the Pearl Jam people and the whatevers and the people, and you'd meet everybody. I think it was there. Dave Matthews was very drunk. I don't think he drinks anymore.
I think he's sober now.
I think he's very sober.
And I think I feel you being compassionate and like, let's not talk shit about Dave Matthews. But, you know, people before
I'm not
they
talking
get
shit.
clean,
It's funny. Yeah.
I think you're in the clear is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, of course. He would.
Not dragging
and I think I
Dave.
told him this. No, I don't think I told him this. 'Cause did I meet him again? Maybe. I have a podcast, and I'm supposed to
Edit
like
that out.
on my Sirius XM show. I'm
Edit
supposed
that
to be
out.
like later in the week. I've got so and so coming up, and it's a replay of an interview. I'm like, did I interview them? Did I? And
Yeah.
did I talk to
Dave Matthews?
It wasn't Dave Matthews. It was
It's
anyway,
a blur.
So it was a blur. So anyway, when I met Dave Matthews, he said it was either at that party or earlier in the night. He said, exactly.
Nice
Like,
to
I'm not sure about the
meet
violin and
you.
the music. No, I said, he said, Lisa Loeb. I like Lisa Loeb. That was our meeting. That was it. He was very drunk. And I was like, oh, okay.
Real
Dave Matthews.
toasted.
Yeah.
I have a question. Are musicians fun? I feel like maybe, but in my experience, they're just pretty normal. Almost like, look, comedians are broken in a certain way, but they're performative.
The comedians I know are very serious.
Yeah.
They're fun sometimes. Like Patton Oswalt, he's fun, like to
Really?
talk to.
I'm just kidding.
You're like,
Whoever
oh,
you
really?
said. Whoever
Patton,
you said.
Who's that? I don't know. Yeah.
No, but
there's certain comedians.
Yeah.
It's weird being just a normal person and a musician who's not considered a comedian. Comedienne. En français.
I don't think we say that anymore.
Yeah.
Even actress is out.
yeah,
Everyone's
yeah.
an actor now.
Yeah, an act. Yeah, a mime. Mime's a mime.
A mime is a mime.
But I feel like I remember when I met. God, now I'm going to get in trouble. Not that she's going to listen, but I remember when I met Ellen DeGeneres at a poker event.
Oh.
And even if I'm meeting like somebody's eye doctor or someone's grandma or their 4-year-old son, I just like to joke around with people.
Sure.
It's
Clown
fun to
around.
like break the ice and mess around.
Well,
but
they're
when I was
also-
doing that with Ellen, I
Yeah.
think she was just like, we're not joking around. And I was
Really?
like, okay, so anyway, who else can I talk to?
Yikes.
I know, but you're like, what? I didn't expect her to be shticky or do anything specific, just to have a conversation.
Yeah. But like a bright one and a fun one.
Just like
And a silly one.
Like hit the ball back.
To me, yes. To me,
Although
being
I'm terrible at
funny,
tennis, so that's not a great
I liked it.
idea, but okay.
Being funny or being clever is very exhausting, but being silly is sort of easier than being normal.
It's just how you have a conversation, or you talk about like there weren't canapes. I don't even know what a canapé is, but you talk about the food that's at the
Cannabis?
buffet. Canapé, a canapé. It's like a little
Menagerie. Dossier.
hors d'oeuvre. Hors d'oeuvre.
It's the
yeah.
dossier of foods is
Dossier.
a canapé.
And I'm like, what's a dossier? Is it like a
dossier
thing on
is
a
just
desk?
a file. It's just
Oh,
a
okay.
file.
It reminds me of what's that thing on the desk that's like the desk? Oh gosh. I just had a memory of buying one of those in
A desk
in
set?
the 80s, a desk set with
Yeah.
like
With the padded?
Yes, the
But
padded
it's
on the
padded
side.
sides.
So
Shouldn't
you
it be
don't
padded at the front?
it's probably like the
so you
old
write this
version.
way.
Is it like the old version of like the wrist thing when you're playing like
Yeah, on a mouse.
on a computer? Yeah.
On a mouse. But it should
with the
have
matching
it should have always
pencil
been
cup.
there.
And
Do
it
you
was
know I have a
these-
joke about this?
No.
Well,
oh, maybe I do. See,
no,
I
don't think
I
you
may
do.
know this.
the reason I don't,
You might tell me, and I'll be like, yes, I know this.
I'm actually going to put this back to you, believe it or not, as a good interviewer.
Okay. Sorry.
As someone who aspires to be a good interviewer, I have a joke called 90s Desk where I just do what you're doing. I just list how great desks were in the 90s. And it's absurd. There's no punchline. There's no commentary. I'm just like, I want a heavy metal desk. That you
I
can
have
put,
one.
Yeah. They're great.
I have my grandfather's desk, so it's retro heavy metal.
They
desk, but
look
yes.
like they
Yeah,
could be
yeah.
pushed out a second story window and survive. They're serious. Like they lock, the drawers lock, and there's a little thumb thing, and just a cup, and like there's a calculator that prints out, in tape.
Yes.
That was the one part of the
Sound.
bit I remember was like, why do we even need tape? Like, we used to need tape so much in the 90s. There's no more need for tape.
Yeah.
We needed tape and erasers and like the eraser that you'd put on top of the eraser.
Yes.
That's how much we were erasing.
Yeah.
You
Oh, and
erased so much, you needed an auxiliary second
Yeah.
eraser. And I just scream it. And a lot of really wonderful people really like that bit.
Yeah.
And this is how I'm putting it back to you. But for me to make that joke work, I had to embody it in such an exhausting way
Yeah.
that the joke is actually me. The joke becomes that I'm getting
Yes,
so
you're
worked up
super
about a
into
90s desk. And I was like, well, that's gone. It might have been the funniest joke I ever
Yeah.
wrote, but it's not performatively viable.
No.
And my question for you, to just be a regular part of the set list.
Right,
I'm not
right.
doing 90s desk. I would see it on the set list and I'd just skip it. I'm just not doing that. I can't take it vocally.
It has to come to you naturally. Though, no?
Exactly. But
You
so what
can't
I'm
plan
fascinated,
on it.
do you have a parallel there where there have to be songs that you write or
Yeah.
things maybe that you even want to just talk about
Yeah.
that are just too exhausting? And here's the point. An
Yeah, you
album,
get to them and you're like, oh, am I
Yeah.
going to climb that hill right
and
now?
you have to do it.
Yeah, I years ago. First of all, I have to talk about one of your bits. I was listening to one of your albums on my
I like
digital
record-
album.
record
I was listening when I'm like
makes
thinking of like my comedy albums, like the Cheech and Chong and like the
sure.
Bill Cosby.
have-
Unfortunately,
We have Steve Martin's right there.
you know, Steve Martin, wild and
Yeah,
crazy guy.
yeah.
And you said something, and you said something about it. I have an overall, my overall tone. And I was like, is he wearing overalls? Like I took it so literally for a minute. And I was like, that's such a weird bit. Your
this is-
overall tone.
This is why you're in with comedy. So your husband is a comedian person?
And he was in music over at, I mean, he's done some improv stuff, and we have a lot of comedy friends, and our
guess
regular friends are very funny too. But
Well, I guess I've always known you as someone who's folded into comedy.
yes,
That's been like a meshed.
Yeah, I definitely, yeah. Yeah. But so
A hyper-literal brain is usually an
yeah.
earmark of somebody that is very funny because we're
yeah.
very confused.
Yeah.
So if you went up after me and said that would be very
Yes.
funny to a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And to the people that it doesn't make sense to, it would be delightful that that's how you took it. And that's what comedy is.
Yeah, and that's
It's a
fun.
mistake that we can all enjoy. So you were saying the thing
exactly,
you don't want
which
to
is
do.
great when you have live audiences and you do have some set stuff you might say.
Yeah.
But then it's fun to be able to play around with what does actually occur in the audience.
Of course.
Unless it's really annoying. In
there's
which case
certain-
you try to like have a professional shusher in the audience.
Oh, do you have a shusher?
Well, every once in a while. Generally now I play places that are either theaters where you feel like you're supposed to be listening.
'Cause it gives
Thank
you
the
that
Lord.
posture.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, I'm supposed to be listening.
yeah.
Or I'll play like dinner places that are like the very old Largo where people would eat and watch comedy, and I would play there. I play places like that are bigger and people are eating, but they're there to listen.
Yep.
Plus, they spent $1 gajillion to go there and babysitters and stuff. But anyway, so they're there and they're supposed to
They're
listen.
invested. They're literally invested.
Yeah, but sometimes there will be a place that my booking agent will say, "Oh, but it's the place to play. Oh, but by the way, there's a bar in the back." I'm like, well,
Yeah.
there's a pool table behind the soundboard. I'm like, no, but
Yeah.
that's where the bridal
Can I
shower
add
is
to this?
happening.
Get these TVs off.
Yeah, turn off the
those
TV.
TVs
I
off.
get distracted. I like start
Of
watching.
course.
It's the only time I have in my life to relax. I'm up on
Lisa.
stage. I'm not taking care of my
Lisa,
kids. We're
it's
saying
flashing
things.
lights and colors.
Yeah, you're like,
no
what?
one can resist.
How?
It's a hit.
You're like, and then they invite someone's puppy on stage.
What?
And then they serve free bacon.
What?
It's like, who can listen?
Oh, these are jokes.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's just what could happen.
Sorry, I'm still
But no,
getting to know you.
but
These are
like,
jokes.
I mean,
you do jokes.
yeah, but like, so I get distracted by the TV I'm watching, and I'm like, oh. I get distracted by people singing along. I'm singing, and I'm like, oh, they're singing, and then I'm like, where am I? What's?
Yeah.
And I just stop. But
Yeah.
so I play in places that generally are for listening, and because I have played places that aren't sometimes for listening. They're for people who want to have fun because they're going to see a band.
Right.
But then they're just drinking and they're really loud and it's annoying. But so anyway, every once in a while, I will ask my sound engineer or a couple friends in the audience. I'll say, hey,
Oh, sure.
feel free. If somebody's like chattering,
Shush.
just shush them.
Give them a shush.
And I'm the shusher. Like if I came to see you and it was a place where
shush.
I'd be like, I'd turn around. I'd be like, are you there?
I actually
like,
think we
I'm
should
listening.
do a PSA to
Yeah.
the shushers. It's like a commercial.
A quiet shusher.
Oh, you know,
A
the
touch
right kind
somebody's
of shusher.
shoulder shush. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a quick stare. Can
you touch a
Do you do that
shoulder?
on stage? Do you give people like a kindergarten teacher stare where it's like,
Of course.
shut up? Isn't that a weird
If someone is
Spider-Man power? Like it's like a pew.
you named it perfectly. It is what a kindergarten teacher would do. If somebody is like being disruptive, it's so
the
stupid.
worst.
You turn towards them and
you
you
talk
start
to
doing
them.
the joke to them.
Exactly.
And you see them go like like they get locked in
They get
and they
scared.
kind of stop. I did a show
But then
recently.
sometimes they turn and they start talking to the next person, and you just finally are like,
Well,
professional
alcohol is
shusher
a
has
hell
to
of a
come in.
drug, and you need shushy.
Yeah, yeah.
I have issues with all of it. I wonder how Lisa Loeb feels about this. I wish I could do my job at 11 a.m. It would make me so happy.
The best show is a 7 o'clock or 7:30 show, late enough so nobody's late.
Yes.
I know Greg had a joke about this, like a 30-minute
Which Greg?
set. Greg.
Fitzsimmons?
No, Greg. Oh my gosh.
Greg Giraldo?
Greg. I'm looking up Greg's last
These
name.
are all the Gregs.
His wife is Amira. You know Greg.
That's all the Gregs.
No, it's not.
Fitzsimmons or Giraldo?
Greg. Oh my gosh.
Proops?
I love Greg Proops. I haven't seen him in a long
Okay,
time.
we've named 3
Greg.
Gregs.
No.
That's all the Gregs.
No, it's
Greg.
oh gosh, come on.
You know that comedian named Greg?
Did I just call him the wrong name?
Greg? You mean Craig Ferguson?
No, not Craig. Oh my gosh, Craig Ferguson. No. Oh my
Greg?
gosh.
There's no more Gregs.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You Google comedian Greg. It says you mean
Greg Barrett.
Greg Barrett. All right. Sorry, Greg. He's
Greg.
been on the show.
You know Greg.
I've opened
Greg
for him.
has that great bit
Sorry,
about.
Greg.
I know. No, exactly. See, first time remembering. Of course, you know Greg. When you get to be my age,
He wrote-
your memory just
He's
goes
just
away.
not that into you.
Exactly, with the mirror.
Yeah, he's a big deal.
So anyway, Greg has a great bit about, being a rock dad and going to a rock show, and the greatest rock show being like a 30-minute, just do like a 30-minute show at like 7 o'clock and then you're done.
I love
like just
this.
I don't know if that's the exact, but I feel the same way. Like when I look at my schedule and I see I'm playing at 7:30, I have no opener.
Yeah.
And I'm done.
This is my...
And I'm done at 9.
Lisa.
I'm like, oh my gosh, you mean I can go watch a Netflix show now?
Yeah.
But I do go out and sign autographs after, and that can take another hour and a half.
Oh,
But
that's nice of you.
yeah,
You don't have to do that.
I'm trying to get rid of all the CDs in my closet. I got to
People
get rid of
love
all that
physical
stuff.
media. It's
but
coming
I also
back.
say that I do enjoy
You don't have to.
meeting people. I do
Stay.
enjoy meeting people. I know. But
You
so
don't have to.
we were talking about like songs that you get in your set list.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're
where
just
you
like,
have to go, I have to push.
God.
It's like The Rose is on your set list.
Oh gosh, the rose.
The
Some
Rose.
say love.
It starts nice.
I love that song.
But remember...
In the winter,
Far
far
beneath the bitter snow
there
I go with lies the seed
that in the sun's love. That's very religious sounding. In the spring becomes the rose. Oh my God, I have that single. I love that. You know what's even more like that is that other religious song.
It's not religious.
Yes, it is. It's the other one.
You
that,
think
that
The
came out at
Rose
the
is
same time.
religious?
It's religious because it reminds me of the other one that
doesn't-
what's his name's daughter did, who was kind of religious.
Phil Spector.
No, oh come on, it's around the same era. Oh, God,
The Rose.
terrible. No, it's not the Rose.
No, it's around the era
around the
of
era
the
of the
Rose.
Rose. The
And it's
dad was like a
religious.
country-ish singer, but kind of religious. I think he wore white shoes, and his daughter was also and it was
Someone knows who you're talking
the
about based
light.
on
It's
these
like
clues. Spirit in the Sky.
No, it's a 70s soft pop song. It has religious overtones. It's about a guy, but I think it might be about Jesus.
Like I know.
And now I'm thinking of Leo Sayers, When You Need Love, but it's not that song. It's similar era. Yes, Pat Boone's daughter is
Pat Boone's
What's Pat
daughter.
Boone's
I can't.
daughter?
How did you do that, Katie?
Pat Boone, Debbie Boone. Debbie Boone. It's Debbie Boone.
Debbie Boone.
because that's a drum fill. If you want to do a drum fill singing, you say Pat Boone, Debbie Boone.
Pat Boone, Debbie Boone.
That's a drum fill. But wait, Debbie Boone. Aren't you excited you have a drum fill now?
Do you know the?
You light up my life.
You
light up my life.
You started this
give
in a
me
key
hope.
that's
I'm sorry.
difficult for me.
You light up my life. You give me hope
Jesus,
to
you
carry on. Jesus, or a man in the 70s who has a mustache drinking Chardonnay.
We don't know. What's the difference?
I don't know. Actually, cheers. That was good. But you know, that same era where you start, you're like, oh my God, I love this song. So many nights.
There's a lot of John Denver songs where you're like, is this Jesus?
I met John Denver.
Tell me.
I met John Denver.
What
I
if
was
he was
playing.
a real piece of shit?
He was the worst. No.
Off-brand.
John Denver, I met him. I was opening for Lyle Lovett at Red Rocks.
I pictured John Lovitz, but now we're Lyle Lovett.
John
By the
Lovitz.
way, Lyle Lovett.
John Lovett's opening for Lyle Lovett because they sound this one
Lovett
T-shirt.
Lovett.
It's like me and Lyle, LL. When we play together, we only need one shirt.
Has anyone ever said to you, you've got a great ear, Loeb? Has anyone ever said that to you?
That's really nice.
Is that the first time someone's made that joke?
Yes.
Like we're listening and you
Yes.
go, I think it's a little off. You got a great ear, Loeb.
That's great.
No.
Thank you.
I said that I was going to say that to you, to my wife, and she went,
That's really. What, was she asking you to like put your shoes away while you were asking her this?
yeah,
Or
it could have been something
your
else.
shoes are big. They take up a lot of space
I
in the house when you
know.
don't put them back.
It's very
really
true.
annoying.
My thing is I'll make a sandwich and I'll be so hungry that I'll leave everything that I made the sandwich, but with the promise that I will clean it up.
Yeah, and then my rabbi, who you also had on the show, Rabbi Finlay,
One of the greatest episodes.
he spoke at my birthday party.
How scary. That man's
I
frightening.
had a birthday party every year during. I love.
I
Rabbi
find his
Finlay.
fierceness to be like, you
No,
got to be.
He's like brilliant, and
He's
he said
Ed Harris.
jujitsu. Yeah,
He's a black belt in
Yeah, yeah.
jiu-jitsu and a black belt
Yeah.
in Judaism.
Judah. Oh yeah,
I say Judaism,
Judaism.
because that's how you
Judaism.
sound cool.
Judaism.
Not Judaism.
I'm from Texas.
Judaism.
Yeah, we
I'm
say
just kidding.
pianist.
Pianist.
Yeah, my
Do you
brother's
say
a
bought air
pianist.
when someone
I've
opens
never
the
even
door
heard
with
that.
the AC?
I've never even heard that. What is it?
My wife spent some time in Texas, and she was born there, and I think she was born. No, it doesn't matter.
You don't know where your wife was born.
Yeah, in this moment,
in
I
a
don't.
hospital. Okay.
In a hospital.
Yeah,
Is there
okay.
really any place other than here?
Yeah.
That's how I get out of it. I also don't know how old she is. I'm like, but it's always now.
That's nice. That's nice.
Right?
That's actually nice not to know how old your wife is.
She's 10 years younger than me, so it's easy.
Yeah, I'm 10 years older than my husband, so
So hot.
I know. Well, Rabbi, oh no, it wasn't Rabbi Finley. It was another rabbi that said, oh yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
say
we
so hot
even
as
it out.
what-
It's
as
okay.
a
it's
joke.
okay. It's all right. It's okay. But wait,
yeah.
what does your wife say about the AC?
You're letting out the bought air.
I have never heard that before.
Yeah, you're letting out the bought air. Right now, we're letting out the bought air because the door is cracked. I do say so hot as a joke all
No,
the
no,
time.
I know. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Say it to anybody
Right.
all the time.
But
I might
yeah.
say that to a man well, no, I probably wouldn't say that.
Well,
I
I
become
find
the
it-
person who talks to people I talk to people in elevators now. I am the
You
man.
do.
I even put my hand sometimes like
You
the
biden them?
wide hand. I bop nice, on the shoulder. I get shoulders and elbows mixed up. I'm like, nice to meet you. Like the kind of like we're here together.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
may not do that in an elevator, but I talk to random people in elevators.
I had a waiter just 2 nights ago. I was a little stoned. I take like a 2.5, like a baby.
I've never taken. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Zero?
What would happen to my brain? Oh my god.
I don't know.
Maybe it would slow down.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway,
I'm not really about it.
I
but
like real candy. I mean, like Reese's.
Well, then you'd love it when you're stoned. You would love it. It would be
I'd
incredible.
scared. Yeah, I love things already, but anyway,
I'm not even selling it to you.
I know. Okay.
Just in my own defense,
is that legal? Can you sell it to me? Like
Weed?
Yeah, you can now. It's
mean-
legal here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I thought
I know you meant
persuade you.
I know. Both things are.
But I
true.
could sell it to you.
What
at
if
a
you couldn't
markup.
legally persuade me, like back in the days when it was illegal? Like,
Yeah,
you get like arrested for.
You were arrested for
I was selling-
persuasion.
I was persuading, not literally selling. Like you're sitting next to like some policeman
like
on an airport.
That's
in an
like the
airline.
10 Commandments. There's one commandment: you can't covet your neighbor's wife. That's just
Yeah.
in your head.
Yeah.
One of the commandments is something you can't think. That's crazy.
That's because the Lord is like with you.
Call Finley. No, I know.
That's
It's
what's
actually
what's beautiful about
it's quite
having the Lord.
revolutionary.
It's very brainwashy and amazing because it actually makes you want to act right. Whether
Having
you
the
even
Lord?
believe in the Lord or not, you think somebody might be watching you.
Yeah, but that's fear-based. I don't like fear-shame-based. I mean, it's a nice place to start, but
It's bad, but I'm glad I had it because now I feel like I behave properly.
I understand.
You know what I mean? Aren't you glad you did have it? Because now you're like, oh, if you're like, I hate that, but
No,
you still
you're right.
act
We're,
right.
we're skipping to the religious
We have the luxury
portion.
of having
Yeah,
it.
it's called transcend and include. You can transcend it, but you still include what you learn
Yeah.
from it.
I appreciate it. It's like saying, oh, I hated college. It was so terrible. But you have the luxury of having gone there and actually learned some things and not learned some things.
And junior high, as I'm watching my 5-year-old daughter learn, like some people don't want a huge hug. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, and it breaks my heart to even think that someone might make fun of her or like
Right,
shun
right.
her. But
We
that
live in
is
California.
part of life. Say what?
We live in California. We're lucky we have these things as part of our daily life.
What, big hugs?
And learning that you don't have to give a hug, or that you can say no, or that you don't want one.
Well,
when I meet
honestly-
fans now, I say, is it okay if I put my arm around you for the picture?
You know what I do? I go consensual hug.
Oh,
That's what
nice.
I do. Because then it's a joke.
Yeah, and then people say, can I kiss you? And I'm like,
People want smoochies?
They want like to kiss me on the cheek. Sometimes I say, okay.
Go for the cheeky.
Yeah, sometimes.
How do you know they mean cheeky?
Because if they go for the mouth, I turn my head really quickly. And I give my tour manager that eye, a different version of the kindergarten teacher eye. I give this man is nice. Let's let him go now.
He's trying to smooch me.
Okay, great. Well, so nice to meet you. And then you turn your head.
So people say, can I kiss you?
Yeah, can I give you a kiss?
I guess you are. There's something...
My friend Tracy,
Musicians
who's
are
so sweet. She
so
just said you're so
personal to us,
cute,
is what
and
I'm
I
saying.
so
Like you're
nice,
such a part of people's lives.
They think they know you, like a soap opera person.
Yeah, nobody's ever wanted to smoochy smooch. Somebody once said, "Can I smell you?"
Oh,
But that was when I was single, and I think they were hitting on me.
do you go sign autograph? You don't. Do you
I
sell
used to.
albums? It takes a lot of time, but it's sweet.
It's not because, well, I do 2 shows. You're doing the 1 show.
Okay, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we were talking about a long time ago about the mountain.
Light up my life.
I'm like, oh God, why did I say I would do that song?
How are you on Happy Birthday? Because you're a musician.
I am
Do you
so angry
not
with
like
Happy
it?
Birthday.
What?
I love Happy Birthday. And
Don't
when
forget
people
your
don't
late
sing
show
it
question.
well,
Yeah, but do
I
you
won't forget
feel
it.
like if you're Bono story coming?
yeah. I haven't
Never
met
met-
Bono. I
never
met
met.
Edge though.
Oh, Edge.
He was so
he's Edge
cute.
now.
I think he's the Edge.
dropped
Edge.
the?
I think you're supposed to, right?
Oh, you call him Edge for sure.
I don't think you call him the. I called him the Edge, but I think
No,
he's
it's like
Edge.
calling him the Pope. You
With
just say
my
Pope.
radio show, I'm really sensitive because it's like counting crows. I'm like, did I just say the El Coyote?
Don't the us. We're
the-
counting crows.
the Lisa
We're
Loeb.
straight gerund.
Yeah.
We're not a
Gerund
what's
phrase.
A the? Yeah.
I don't know, like past participle.
Yeah, we're not a past
future
participle.
plus perspective.
By the way,
Yeah.
Mr. Jones came on in a coffee shop the other day. That's a little strike of lightning there. That song.
Yeah. Did you flop around with your
I did.
dancing?
I flopped and did some circles, and I didn't change my hair for many years. And then I did to kind of a palm tree look.
Yeah.
And I felt like myself.
And now it's, yeah.
That's what Adam Duritz said. He said, this
Yeah.
feels like me. And I was proud of him.
I remember I met a record company executive when I was in the bidding war with all these labels, and I was really impressed. They had their fridge set up where I'm so impressed
You're
when I
looking
see
at
a
our
fridge.
fridge
I'm looking
that
at
you
your
can
fridge,
see
but
in.
I remember meeting David Geffen. Was it a David Geffen? No, it was Dave. Yeah, I think both David Geffen and Sandy, who is like Dolly Parton's manager and Michael Jackson's manager. And he had, when you open the refrigerator, it was literally like 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
It was like all the drinks lined
This
up,
is a
all the
weird
best drinks
synchronicity.
lined up.
I was thinking about this on the way in.
The
I was
lined
thinking
up
about
drinks.
what you're saying.
And you feel so
right
fancy. Like when
now.
we line up our LaCroix, I line up LaCroix. They're actually LaCroix, even though I
LaCroix.
like LaCroix.
It rhymes
It's
with
LaCroix,
boy.
yeah. But
From the
I line them
company
up and I'm
itself.
like, I feel fancy like David Geffen. But so I remember I was meeting with a record executive who had the fancy fridge with all
Got it.
the like, back in the 90s when it was like, you couldn't even get weird fancy colas or whatever. I don't know what.
Yeah.
And he told me how he had he had the idea for Adam Duritz's hair. And I was
No,
like,
you can't
oh,
say
I was
that.
like, I can't sign here. It's not. I didn't say that to his face at that moment, but in my head I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. You had a really good fridge, but you lost me at."
Adam Duritz's hair?
Yeah, I was like, "Why would you say
buy
that?"
it, though.
I don't either because Adam
I
is
don't
very
buy it for
himself.
a second.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Is he lying about hair? What?
That could be a lie.
Why is he trying to impress me at a record company
And
meeting
why
with
that
somebody's
lie?
hair?"
Why that lie? It was my idea, the Sideshow
Yes.
Bob.
For the
Get out of
hair.
here. Get out of
Why?
here. And that dude is authentic. It sounds like I'm making fun of him. But
No,
remember, this
he's
all
the real-
started
yeah.
because I said Mr. Jones.
You loved the song. It
is
made you
it
start dancing in a
slaps.
coffee shop.
It's
Yeah.
a great song.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I like
You
the
don't
Long
love it?
December better.
Well, of course. I love Raincoat better.
Oh, see, now I don't know what you're talking
You don't
about.
know Raincoat?
I don't know all the
Loeb
songs.
cover.
I don't know all the songs.
It's
I
their
admit.
saddest song. So
Okay.
you like
oh,
Long
I like
December.
the saddest songs, yeah.
Raincoat is
I'll probably like it better. I played
You
with them on
listen-
the road too, actually, a little
really.
bit. I probably
You were
know
in the
song.
Murder because a group of crows is called the Murder.
Oh, see, I would have
We're
got
not a
that
band,
wrong in the
we're a murder.
crossword. I will forget that.
You look like someone who would get things
I
right in a
love
crossword.
I know, but
Yeah,
sometimes you can deduce
Oh,
the answer.
you're saying to Holmes deduce?
Yes.
Yeah, I know what deduce means.
You know what I mean? You can deduce the answer, but sometimes you just don't know. A gent is a group of somethings. It was in the crossword
gent?
yesterday. A gent is a group of
WMEs? Oh, a gent.
A gent.
Like
Is
the
that
different
like,
groups.
Is it like a murder? I think it's like a
murder
murder.
is
But
the
is
funniest
Is
one.
it a gent? I don't
Or the
know.
weirdest one.
Anyway.
It's a gaggle of agents.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, really?
Yeah. Whenever WME
lying
has a
to me?
party, it's
Okay.
a gaggle. I do think it's weirder than we gave it that I was spending time
Yeah,
I have
thinking about
a
the
can
refrigerator.
of Diet Coke in my car.
Yeah.
From something.
I don't drink Diet Coke at all.
I get it.
I like regular Coke.
You don't do drugs. Aspartame is.
I know. I'm looking at this coconut water. I'm like, I understand, but I can't drink
can't
it.
drink
I've got
Vita
regular
Coco?
water. It's slippery.
Drink it. They're a sponsor, Lisa
Okay,
Loeb.
let me try it. I know it's good for hydration.
It is.
It helps your body hydrate.
Do you
right?
booze?
Do I do what?
Booze?
Drink alcohol?
Yeah.
when
You
I go to the
dabble?
I don't not drink. I would like to drink more, but I'm picking up your shoes from all over the house.
That's such
so I don't
a-
have as much time because I'm cleaning up that sandwich you
Us-
forgot to clean up.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Facts. Look, the banana peppers are easy
Wait,
to
was
put
I supposed
back.
to shake this up?
I think you are supposed to shake it.
It's kind of like,
Needs a shake?
I don't know.
You're not sure if it
It's
needs
like
a shake.
I don't want to say anything bad about it because
No, no,
people
no.
love it and it's good for you.
All press is
and
good
it's
press,
better.
Vita.
It's better if you drink this than other hydration drinks when you're under the weather.
Well, at least it's natural.
It's natural.
Here we are talking about it.
It doesn't have junk in it. It's
No
water
junk.
and coconut.
It's
water.
coconut, baby.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Felt weird calling you baby, but you know what I meant.
I know what you mean.
How's it going? You don't like it?
I don't prefer it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
It's not for me.
That's the best way to
It's
say
horrible. No, I'm just kidding.
That's so
It
funny.
tastes terrible. I can't drink
no.
it.
Subtitles on.
But
It's
I know
horrible.
it's good for you.
Yeah, sure.
It's kinda
Natural
like
electrolytes.
Yeah. It's it's good for you. Like I do love broccoli. It's good for me. But so yeah, I do drink.
Wait, you eat broccoli?
I love broccoli. And I don't know if I cross that line. Like I might cross the line with the coconut water if I know it's good for me and I drink it enough. And then I'm like, you know what, it's good for me. And all of a sudden I do like it. It might cross
You might
that
be
border.
a base person. You might want to mix it like a smoothie
yes,
base.
yes. Oh, do you know what I was thinking?
Tell me.
Well, but I don't know if it'd be good. Orange juice. Actually, that wouldn't be so good. Yeah, smoothie. You could add it in with your like bananas. I don't really eat smoothies either. I just
I
eat
hate,
fruit.
You actually mentioned bananas. That's my.
You don't like bananas? Because they're not
What are
ripe
you
yet
doing?
or they're overripe?
What are you doing to me?
You freeze them, you cut them up,
Ugh.
you eat them.
Every part of it,
peanut
it's
butter.
like baby food. Get this fucking baby food out of my fucking face,
banana food.
banana.
I love banana. For a while, I didn't like it because it hurt my tongue. But now I like them.
Because your tongue is
They've got, like,
confused.
a patent leather
Am I
cover.
tonguing this to death or am I chewing it? It's the most confusing mouth experience.
It does have the worst sound ever. My sister made up
Yes.
a word for it. The sound of bananas. She says it's called yamming. It's that.
Ugh.
And it's like the worst sound you heard.
It is.
Unless a cat's making that noise. Otherwise, it's the worst sound ever.
I hate everything about it. I hate that there's little strings.
Strings attached. No strings attached.
Yeah, it's a strings attached fruit, and I don't like it. I'm peeling it. I should be done. It's like, no, there's strings attached, and now I'm taking it out.
And then there's the little plug on the other end,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Like a vein, like a shrimp. There's like a weird shrimp
Oh, yeah.
vein.
I hate when I find the second vein.
Have you
It's like
tried
deveined
another
shrimps.
fruit? Have you tried a peach? A
I actually
plum?
I have a nectarine.
Nectarine. These are the hits.
Not peach, though. It has fuzz on the outside.
I-
Why would you want to take a bite into something that's fuzzy?
Fuzzy?
Ugh.
I'm with you, but if you get it wet first, you're not going to see it.
It still has that texture of
It
like
mats it
fake
down.
velvet. But wait,
Yeah, you're eating a couch. But a banana,
yeah.
3POs.
I love bananas, except for I found one at the bottom of a golf bag once because I don't play a lot of golf, but I love snacks, and it was in the golf bag. Like a month later, when I took the golf clubs out of the
It could have been 30
car.
minutes later. Those things last
Yeah.
zero minutes.
I love bananas.
Plum, though.
Plum, it's hit or miss.
Well, it could be very sour.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
it could be really sweet,
be
but so
really
sweet.
sweet.
that it's like it's dripping everywhere. You have to have a paper towel in your
I
car.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's like earn it.
If you want to earn it, eat
Earn
like
it.
a kumquat.
Oh,
no, like-
pomegranate.
Oh, I love pomegranates.
Yeah, but
they're like
who has
jewels.
4 hours?
You can hold them up to the light. It's like
Yeah,
nature's
It's
stained glass window, like a slice of orange.
It's a garnet.
It's a garnet. Oh my
Oh,
god, gorgeous!
that's a good crossword
It's beautiful.
word.
It's so beautiful.
Basketball player.
I didn't even
Crystal.
know about pomegranates till I was a grown up.
Yeah, we all found out the same time when pom
Yeah.
became a drink.
Oh yeah, and Rabbi Finley, I knew it because I'd go to synagogue. I started going to synagogue
Why?
because of Rabbi Finley.
Why?
I know exactly.
No, JK.
I know exactly.
Rabbi Finley, though, when I talked to him, we got very little Judaism. Is it like that? Is he like just? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. But so wait, I was telling you he did my birthday party because during COVID I had been taking dance classes a few times a week. I love dance classes. Do you know Adam
What kind of-
Felber? He's a writer, comedy. His wife, Jeannie Simpson, is an actor, but she's also a dance teacher and also friends of mine from high school, from Dallas. But anyway, I took musical theater, dance, lyrical, jazz.
Lyrical
Growing
jazz?
up, it's like
scatting? Is that
like
what that
old
means?
school, like not hip hop. I'm terrible at like a hip hop type of dance.
Okay.
Like old school, like Fosse or where you're like moving through the music. It's nice.
Like freeform, like white lady
It's not-
freeform?
Yeah, but not freeform. There's choreography.
Okay.
I can't drugs, freeform dance. I'm not at a Grateful Dead concert. I'm
Yeah,
like going
yeah,
to
yeah.
get a snack.
That is what that drug feels like, that dance. And
Maybe I
it's-
should try that. But then I don't know. I don't know.
I could sell you on psychedelics, not weed.
I think I'll end up in a hospital.
False.
I think my brain will freak out.
Yeah, because look, I'm not going to do the math on how old you are, but you are right in the prime of someone saying like you're going to smoke angel dust and jump off a roof.
I will.
Like, you got.
I saw that commercial
The
in the
mother
70s.
load of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it consciously and with precaution, but I don't think you need to worry about that, especially if you do the right. What is this? Sommelier? Especially if you do the right drug for you.
My God, I used to love the sommelier when I was a kid at the Italian
that
restaurant.
fun?
He had that cup around his neck.
I know.
My dad would call him the wino. The wino's here.
Well, he looks like he came in second place at the Olympics, right? He's got that little silver medal.
And he's like yes.
And he's a dork.
He's serious.
Jim Gaffigan had a great joke about it. He goes, if you understand the wine list, you're an alcoholic. It's like,
I
that is-
like tune out. I'm like, what tastes like pears? I like wine that tastes like pears.
You do?
Yeah. Like dry.
Just get fucked up, guys. Just drink vodka. Like
There's
all
the next
old
day.
people.
There's the next day.
Wine is the worst hangover.
And moms can't have a next
Don't get me
day
started on
with children.
mom marketing wine.
No,
It
but
was
I'm
a
like, well, how can they
choice.
drink all this wine? You
They
have to
can't.
wake up the next day.
That's what I'm saying. It's the worst
damn
feeling.
it.
After 30, it's fucking over.
I could stay up too late, and I'm like, oh God.
You're
Like they
dead.
should have that on the doctor's form. They say like, how much do you drink? And they don't have the check mark that's right for me because I don't not drink, but I don't drink like once a week or twice a week. I'm like
Right.
once every 6 weeks. Like, do you have that on the?
Yeah.
Like, and if there's a party and there's champagne, I'll definitely drink that.
And you said you want to drink more.
I
That is-
really want to drink. Not since 1994. That's been my goal.
Why?
Well, it rhymes with 94, first of all. My
Drink
friend Amy
more.
and I always have like a phrase for the year, like more in 94. And like, we're going to drink more.
Barely alive in 95.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
What year did Stay come out?
1994. It's drink more in 94.
Oh.
Yeah. At the beginning, earlier in the year, drink more in 94.
Okay.
You know, in 2020, it was see people in person. That doesn't rhyme, but see people in person in 2020.
Oh, and it
And then
didn't
it was
work.
COVID.
It was the
and it was
worst
like,
time
we
to
didn't see
people
anyone in person.
Yeah.
But we did start having birthday parties online. And so I had dance class online, and Rabbi Finley spoke to my friends online. That was my
Nice.
birthday party.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying you go to synagogue.
I don't anymore because Rabbi Finley just moved to Israel.
He moved to Israel?
He went online during COVID, and then they didn't have a space anymore. And now he's in Israel, so sometimes I do his
They don't
services
have a
online.
space online?
Well, they do now.
Online is
services.
just
yeah,
space.
I know, but like you know, I used to go in person. I was Jewish. I am Jewish. I was raised Jewish.
Jewish
Jewish.
mother and father?
Yes, Jewish mother and father. My dad's from West Texas, which there were no Jewish people there other than his family. But my mom's from Dallas. So the era of like just, you're Jewish because you're Jewish, because you were raised Jewish, your parents are Jewish. They came from the old country, actually in like the early 1900s or something. Early wave of Jews coming to America. They're just Jewish. They socialize. You must socialize with other Jewish people because Jewish people aren't invited to the certain country clubs or
All right.
certain social situations or golf clubs. That's how you meet people. That's what you do. And then they have children. Well, me in particular, we're Reformed Jews. We do all the stuff we're supposed to do, like do all the Hallmark holidays, all the main holidays. You go to services when you have to. You do weekly religious school because that's just what you do. You get you are bat mitzvahed because that, I don't even know if that's how you use it in a sentence. You
Yeah,
are a bat mitzvah.
you were bat mitzvah.
You are a bat mitzvah, I think you say. Because
you
that's
were
what you
bat.
do.
Yeah.
You buy the right shoes so you look cute on stage. You memorize the stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get to be a grown-up.
Jew shoes?
No, not Jewish shoes. I'm a small person, so it was hard to find shoes that didn't look like Mary Jane's back in that
I
era.
understand.
Now
It's hard
little
to pass
kids,
up a rhyme
your
for me.
daughter, yeah.
Jew
Now
shoes.
your daughter could wear shoes like any shoes I'm wearing. They have every shoe in every size now. Right?
Isn't that fun?
I know she could wear platform shoes or
One of
whatever.
her first pair of shoes were Jordan 1s. She never wore them.
Isn't that cute?
But it was cute.
They're not. It's hard to walk in them when you're that
they're
little.
terrible.
They need moccasins. Yeah.
Well, he played that game in them and his feet were bleeding. Anyway, keep going.
Like baby Band-Aids for like tiny little.
Well, she didn't play. She didn't play until the second half. So she was fine.
I'm like, I don't know anything about sports.
You're talking about being bat mitzvah.
So yeah, I had my bat mitzvah, and but I would sit in services and look around. I'm like, I literally did the thing. You hear this all the time from people. You're literally counting the pipes on the organ to try to stay awake. Yeah. You're like counting the lights in the synagogue. You're listening to people say these big things and reading things in prayer books, and I'm trying to figure out like, do they really, kind of believe what they're saying? Do they? Yeah. Is this like? I don't want to be rude to anyone, but like, do you really believe like what you're saying? You read these Bible stories. Do you think like really there was tablets given by a man in a chair? They don't ever say God is a man in a chair, but it is because you've seen the movie. Like what?
Well, Charlton Heston trumps the Bible.
Trump
You heard
loves
it
the
here
Bible
first.
too. Yeah. He reads it back to front.
Did you realize the word Trump is so close to triumph? I just realized.
Don't tell anyone that.
I just. Oh, edit that out.
Oh gosh.
I almost
said something political the other night at an event I did in Laguna Beach.
Oh.
Oops.
Whoopsie-doodle.
But I stopped myself.
You almost tenacious D'd yourself?
I almost did. I almost did. Not that dramatically. I thought I was going to be really kind of vague about it. And then I realized even being vague is going to be hitting it nail right on the head. So I didn't say anything. Is Laguna Beach
kind of mixed?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Ted Danson was the main host, and I don't think he is. But I just was like, what am I doing? I got to shut up halfway through a story. But anyway.
You were like, and that one just ended in the middle.
Anyway, I'm not going to continue with that sentence.
Wow.
But it wasn't necessarily a listening audience. It was people who were being served dessert who were supporting a good cause.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went to the synagogue. I did all this stuff, grew up, did this stuff even in college. Like I would do the main high holidays. I had New York City friends. I was from Texas. I had New York City friends who knew it was Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah, which are like two of the main big holidays of the year, especially Yom Kippur, the day of repentance.
So hot.
Whether you're going to be written in the book of life or not.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I would take the day off of class.
That's the most Christian of the Jewish.
Really?
Ceremony. Yeah.
I think it's very Jewish.
Oh no, it's extremely Jewish. Don't misunderstand.
But like get into the book of life.
Get in the book of life is very like, are we in? Are we forgiven? We need to repent.
Are we gonna end up in heaven or something? Yeah.
It's atonement religion.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
which is also the beauty of
juridical.
Certain, like, see, I need these words. I need to go back to school.
I was just going to say that's a great one. Juridical.
What is juridical?
Just of pertaining to
judges?
Judgment. Yeah, litigious.
So yes.
Legalistic.
Because I do love, and I
said of or pertaining to. Is there anything more fake smart than of or pertaining to?
But you meant it.
I did.
That's the thing. That's why they say it. You actually meant it.
I know, but it was dumb. At least it was authentic.
Yeah, it's
and
authentic.
or is great. Either or.
Because you mean it. Like
Elliot
and
Smith.
or either or.
You ever meet him?
I didn't. But my mom met his grandfather.
That's boring.
Playing drums.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
I'm kidding. 100% kidding.
It's so boring.
His grandfather played the drums?
His
Elliot
father was
Smith?
a drummer. He was from Dallas for a while, Texas, and my mom was visiting a relative of ours in a nursing home, and a band would play every once in a while, and she was talking to the band. Of course, she had to talk to the band, and of course, it came up that her daughter was a musician, and this grandfather was like, "Oh, well, my grandson was a musician," and it was Elliot Smith.
No,
it was his grandfather.
Wow, incredible!
I know, it's just incredible, but also sad, and I wish I had known him. And
yeah,
I always feel like I need to reach out to people like Michael Jackson and be like, you need a regular person in your life to be like, what are you doing?
To ground them.
Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You guys know I've been talking ad nauseum about ARMRA. Why? Because I'm obsessed with things that boost my immunity. Leela just started going back to school. Everyone's getting the sniffles. Everyone's bringing around colds. You see the sicknesses traveling about and you start to panic. What do? I keep on my regimen with ARMRA. ARMRA is colostrum. What is colostrum? Colostrum is the first nutrition we receive in life and contains all of the essential nutrients our bodies need to thrive. I'm talking about reactivating hair growth and glowing skin, reducing inflammation and puffiness in your face and neck to make you look great, as well as stimulating stem cells to produce collagen and increase elasticity. talking about igniting your metabolism and fortifying gut health and feeling less bloated. That is a huge one for me. Some days I forget to take my ARMRA and I can tell. I feel it in my stomach. I go, what's going on? It's bulging out. I'm feeling gurgly and crazy. Take your ARMRA. It neutralizes it immediately. It also fuels your fitness performance and your recovery. It's a proprietary concentrate of bovine colostrum that harnesses over 400 living bioactive nutrients that rebuild the barriers of your body and fuel cellular health for a host of research-backed health benefits. It's wholly natural, sustainable, and was developed with the highest integrity, grass-fed in the U.S., and they guarantee the highest potency and bioavailability of any colostrum on the market. They guarantee the highest potency, so they're not all made equal. Get it, try it. Val and I are swearing by it. We've been taking it every day. They are results that you will actually see and feel. And we've worked out a special offer for weirdos. Receive 15% off your first order. I just use this promo code to get a big old tub of it. So it works. It's up. It's running. Go to tryarmra.com/weird or enter weird to get 15% off your first order. That's tryarmra.com/weird. This episode is also brought to us by our friends at Roosevelt's. This is a Roosevelt's shirt. No doubt that I'm wearing it now because I'm about to have company over here at the house. I also just wore it on Wheel of Fortune. I taped an episode of Wheel of Fortune. Of course, I wore my Roosevelt shirt. Did it on Hollywood Squares. I do it on movie premieres. I wear it constantly. I also just wear it around the house because it's made of this Cuniflex material, which is incredibly breathable, incredibly cool, incredibly comfortable, but also keeps you warm. It's moisture wicking, light, soft, stretchy, and fits so damn nice. But so much more than that, Roosevelt's is a fun company. They are an apparel brand fueled by a love of pop culture and Americana. They combine high quality products with bold, fun designs and create a unique and exciting concept every single time. Whether you're a fan of Star Wars, Disney, classics like Back to the Future, Roosevelt's has something for everyone. For those who prefer a more laid-back style like the one I'm wearing here, they also offer original designs as well. Roosevelt's button-up shirts are just the beginning. You can now complete your look with shorts, performance hoodies, and high top-quality flannels. These shirts aren't just stylish, they are conversation starters. Take it from me, if you're wearing something that announces what you are about, you will attract someone that is also into those things, and you'll have a fun, interesting conversation and a conversation starter. Guaranteed to bring even the shyest person out of their shell. And if you're after high-quality fun apparel, look no further than Roosevelt's. If you've got a heartbeat, you're going to belong in Roosevelt's. Like I said, they got The Office, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, and some of these more bespoke, original designs. They also have hats, bomber jackets, hoodies, shorts. This is a great way to support the show. I won't blame you if you never want to take it off. Check them out on Instagram at RSVLTS. So they take all the vowels out. Roosevelt's, RSVLTS. Or click the link below or in my description for 15% off your first purchase. This is a new offer. We've been working with them for a while. Here's a new offer. RSVLTS.com/Pete57179. Click that link. Get 15% off. Look fantastic. Support the show. So many people now are making, like, I remember, I'm pretty sure Phoebe Bridgers said this to me, that her and Christian Lee Hudson are like just trying to write new Elliott songs.
Oh,
isn't that great? And they kind of are, if you listen to them. He's such an inspiring
So
he continues
musician.
on, like in a very literal way.
Everybody's trying to copy him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh, it was so good. He was so sad. He was like, why am I on that? Why do I have to perform on the Oscars? Why are you guys making me do this?
But that's how I found out about it. I was 17.
Through the movie.
From Good Will Hunting.
I know, it was so good.
Which brings me, we won't forget to talk about your lapsed Judaism.
Yes.
But one of the things that's really interesting
to me. It wasn't lapsed, but we'll get back to it.
No, it's lapsed and you're a bad Jew.
No,
you're a terrible Jewish woman.
I'm very into it. I'm very Jewish. But anyway, yes.
No, you're not.
Okay.
You thought God was an old man in the sky, which is from the movie The Ten Commandments.
I know, but how are you supposed to learn about junk?
I don't know.
Well, it's very literal God with a capital G. I know.
A capital G and then a hyphen, I hope.
Yes. Oh, exactly. Because you could have, but that's now I love the hyphen because it's like, how can you pin down?
Oh, I'm about
how can you even put the word God in a sentence?
I agree.
And then they put a whole book together.
I completely agree.
But Rabbi Finley said it was because they were trying to teach people, if somebody couldn't think of these things on their own and they couldn't organize or figure out like how to focus on different things in a specific period of time, somebody had to write up like a guidebook.
Of course.
So they wrote up this guidebook, and then the guidebook got very literal, and it was the only thing that people wanted to talk about was these guidebooks.
Yes.
He didn't say exactly that way. I'm paraphrasing, but it's for people who can't make up their own poems, you know.
Well, that's the conundrum of all spirituality is,
but there's something good at the base of it. Like, I want to talk to people who are Catholic and say, like, what is the essence? Where did it come from? And what's the beauty of, like, I listen to religious radio. I listen to Catholic radio a lot because I'm always, there's certain things I can give or take, definitely. But there's other things I want to know. What are the essences of the practices and the
You're
ideas.
Looking for the perennial wisdom. That's another good word.
Yes, perennial. I always forget that word, perennial. When you write a Christmas song, it's perennial. But like the perennial wisdom.
Yeah. The distillation of all of it.
I love it. And the specificity of the practices and the what are those things called? Like when you light candles or you, God, I can't think
liturgy?
of it. Not the liturgy, but the
oh yeah, I guess it wouldn't be sacraments.
Not the sacraments, but even a more general word. You know, the word that it's like
Pat Boone.
Pat Boone, Debbie Boone. Pat Boone, Debbie Boone.
See, girls can't
the
do
things
sound
that light
effects.
up.
I'm making sure my
I was
daughter
too busy
can go,
talking.
Psh.
I know. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm already getting Leela
don't
way
know
up
why.
on it.
You
We
have
do-
to.
We
That,
do sound
you know.
effects all the time. Go ahead.
What's the word? Ritual. The rituals.
Oh yeah, that was
The
really
rituals.
easy.
It was
We were
so easy. It was
overthinking
so easy. I couldn't even think
Rituals.
of it. But like the rituals, it's so. I wanted my children to know when you light candles, like, what can they think of when they're doing it, other than like because I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Not that my kids really listen to me and get that yet, but
Yeah.
so the rituals, like, what are your rituals? Why do you do this? What you know?
That's one of the hardest things to imbue, I think, though. When you watch a Seder
Yeah.
and you're like, we eat this because of this, it's like, boy, that's hard to force. It's
Right?
really
It's the
hard
body
to
of
force.
Christ. What?
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah, all of them. Really, all of them.
But it's so when you can get to that really great, both very specific and very traditional place, and the really abstract place. It's just and even us talking about it. That's like kind of like higher place religious. Your brain, your heart, your mind going to this other place that you're expanding, and like, what do you? Just the fact that you're thinking about it in the first place. That's like amazing.
Yeah, if you speak about these things, you're wrong. But if you're silent, you're a coward. You know what I mean? It's like if to talk about it is to,
you're not,
is
because
to
that's like
lie, essentially. But that's the best we can do.
Yeah, you do your best, and then when you're teaching children, all of a sudden you're teaching them simple things again, which aren't really what you really believe exactly, because you're generally trying to get them the idea.
Yeah.
Which they could probably teach you better than you're teaching them because they're already living it.
Right. Of course. No, of course.
But
it
so
all
Judas-
comes.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no.
It all comes down to.
Well, I was just going to summarize all of that.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
I know, because you're so good at.
Well,
just
with
like one word.
with the child, with
The child.
the child.
Are you talking about Grogu?
Who's Grogu?
Baby Yoda. He's the child. They call him the child, don't they?
Oh, cute.
I know.
No, with children,
Yeah.
it is all about just trying to get them to recognize that's a person too. Like we're all the same thing. They treat somebody
Right,
how
right,
you
to
want to be
treat people
treated
respectfully,
thing. But then I also think like we were talking about harvesting and how that song "The Rose" is sort of religious. That is, it's like a seed dies and then it sprouts into something else. The cyclical and never-ending nature
Right.
of the passing show, I think, is something that kids are more ready to understand than we think they are. There's a great children's book about that, which the punch I don't remember which one it was about the lifespan of a leaf, and it falls and it goes into the earth and grows again. And the last words of the book are because nothing ever really dies. And kids are like they were just there, Lisa, in the place. You know what I mean?
I don't know about the place.
Well, I don't even necessarily mean it literally, but they were
right.
just
Like
not here.
Right. And then
So
they're
the idea
here.
of not being here isn't that weird to them.
Why do I feel like women, there should be so many more women science fiction writers. When you were pregnant with a child,
Yeah.
you were like a pod
Yeah.
with like a child inside of you. It is science fiction.
Yeah.
There's a person. It's funny, when I had my daughter, who's now 14, when I was pregnant with her,
Brag.
I kept thinking of her when I was pregnant with her. She was like a person with like a briefcase and a hat. I don't know why. She was like a person. But
Yeah.
when I was pregnant with my son, he was a baby in my brain. I don't know
cute.
why. Why is she a person with a hat, like a fedora, and a briefcase and like a trench coat, like a person?
Yeah, why?
I don't know. I thought of
That
her
was
as a
how
person.
you thought of her.
Yeah,
And then you had one.
yeah. But you have them. It's weird.
Yeah.
They come out of you like attached in an
No,
umbilical cord.
it's the oldest. No, it's not the oldest point, but like
Oldest
when you
trick in the
watch
book.
the oldest trick in the book is having a baby.
Yeah.
But remember in Stranger Things when like
I didn't watch it. It was scaring me.
yeah, no, I co-sign on that decision. It's a very scary show. But they
But I
have
like the
these
telephones.
aliens
Yes,
enter the
yes.
world.
That's when I had to stop it. Yeah.
And one of the ways the aliens or the demons or whatever they are enter the world is like an organic material would grow on a tree.
Like
and it was
through
very
the wall,
vaginal.
right? Oh, yeah.
And there would be like a slit in it, and
Yeah.
then they'd emerge.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to have a joke about this where people would be like, wow, imagine if that was happening. And I'm like, it's happening every 3 seconds that something is emerging out of a slit on an organic thing.
Yeah.
Like I think it's crazy that we need to think about vampires to be fascinated. Like you catch yourself being like, wow, like a child or a grown up being like, imagine if vampires are real. I'm like, we appear to be real. What are we? But we need to change it to an alien to be fascinated with birth, or to a vampire to be fascinated with the fact that I am existing or appear to be existing.
You're walking, your brain is happening, your hand, you're like a
It's
superhero,
insane.
like your wounds just heal up.
I know. Well,
Your
that's a
arm,
great
like,
example.
it's like that-
Wolverine regenerates. So do you. That's insane.
Like literally your fingernails are growing, your hair.
I hurt my shoulder and people are like, just wait. That's insane.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Like who decided on that? I don't know. But that's almost like a separate version of religion, which makes you
Which part?
nature.
Well, the
Body's
laws
regeneration.
of this
Yeah.
reality to me have, that's not really
That's not religion,
religion
but
to
it
me.
is magic. There's some fine line between like things that are magical, things that you appreciate in such a deep way.
Yeah.
It blows your mind to, you're like, I don't have to take drugs to see a certain flower, like a pansy.
No, that's
and it's
true.
velvety and it just blows my mind.
But what drugs can help with, and again, I'm not even saying you should.
I'm curious.
It's not what you see, it's that you recognize that there's something seeing. That's what drugs do. Or that's what drugs can do.
Right.
And opinions on this differ. But a lot of people do take, let's say, mushrooms and they go like, and I saw the flower. To me, the value of those things is you are quiet enough and usually outside enough and with yourself enough that you go like, who am I? What am I? And that's the most important question. And those experiences, I'm gonna
I do that a
broaden
lot,
this.
like without taking drugs, though. I spend way too much time.
Wondering what you are.
Yeah, what am I? Who
Well,
am
that's
I?
great.
Why am I here? What do I?
But that
what-
why am I
not,
here
not
is
why
like
am I
a
here
purpose.
as much as like the purpose, more of like, but
I
maybe
didn't mean
not
to
at that
correct
level.
you.
No,
It's
no,
like
but
a
maybe not at that
flashlight
level.
turning around on itself.
Right.
It's like, what is pointing out? What is the nature of the knowing that knows my experience is the most, I would
Right.
say, the most important question.
Sounds like a speech I wrote in 5th grade for speech contest.
You could just
I
call
wrote
me
a
an
speech
asshole.
contest.
You don't have to say
No,
so.
no.
I'm just kidding.
It's something I've been thinking about for such a long time. I think you talked about it in one of your things too about blue. Does everybody see blue the same way? Like,
And
does
that's what
everybody see
art
the same
is.
color? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I go down a deep hole. And I was so happy to hear my son ask me or my daughter say, like, well, how do we know that like my version of yellow is what you're seeing? Like, what if
And we
what,
don't. And
I
that's
wrote
the
a whole
first
speech about
lava
this.
lamp thought. Yeah.
I love lava lamps, but like I do. I used to have them, and then
I
they would
love
knock over,
lava
and they get
lamps.
all like they get all mixed up,
Yeah,
and it takes
schmutzy.
forever for them to join back together.
Yeah.
But part of my speech was, what does nothing look like? Because if usually on the other side of nothing is something. So what does nothing look like? And this
Well-
is me with like index cards in my all-girls school giving
Well,
a
does
speech.
nothing exist? Because, I asked that
There's
to
always
Neil
something on the other
deGrasse
side of it.
Tyson.
Yeah.
When we isolate something that we call nothing, meaning it has no property, he offered this. He said, you put a ball in it and drop it, it falls. So gravity is in there. So there's waves in there. So it's not nothing. But like, even if you saw a perfect void where there was no gravity, where nothing was obeying lawfully, you're still
Yeah, yeah.
observing it. So there's still a knower, which means it's
There's
not
a
nothing.
thing. Yeah.
Which means it's
There
like
is
saying
not nothing.
Rupert Spiro, who's my wonderful friend and teacher, he talks about awareness being like a screen. And even if there's no image on the screen is still there. Think about an
Right,
on
right,
TV
right.
with a
Right.
black
Yeah.
screen. It's not nothing. The screen is still as present in that nothing
Right, and thinking
as
of
it
the
would
nothingness.
be as an image of
Right.
thousands of people walking across the Great Wall of China. In
Yeah.
fact, it's completely irrelevant.
Right.
What's
right,
on the screen? The phenomenon is the screen. So the sacred questions are: am I aware?
Right.
What is the nature of the knowing with which I know reality?
Wait, say that again slower.
Am I aware? Oh, the second one?
Am I aware?
Well, to get in touch with the idea that something is aware is the first step.
Right.
And that's very fun, is you go like, you ask yourself, well, you can do it now. This is pure Rupert Spira. Please watch him if you want to watch a real person do it. But you say, am I aware? So you could do that. Am I aware?
Yeah. Am I aware? Yeah.
And do you find it? Do you find the sensation of being aware?
Yes.
So he's like, where you went in that space is to the experience of awareness. But then the second part is actually, I would say, more important. You say, what is the nature of that awareness? And you notice that this is where words fail us, but it's spacious, it's empty, it's full of itself. Yeah. It's free. It's very.
It's weird building blocks of nothing, but they're connected in a very purposeful way because you're trying to think of, like you're trying to be in awareness.
Yeah.
And
but
like you that space is still full of something because you I guess that's where drugs come in, because you're able to drop out of the awareness itself
and just abide in it. That's what it is. You can't know it subject to object.
Right.
You can only become it.
Because once it's subject and object, it's
now
there.
dual. But you go into that one.
Right.
And that's the great punchline of reality is you can, drugs or otherwise, and I'm not even saying you need to do it with drugs. In fact, I do it way more often without drugs than I do it the few times I've done it with drugs. But it's like you can go in it and you're there and it's complete and it makes sense and you rest there and you are it. And when you come back, your brain tries to recreate it or think about it.
Right.
In doing so, ruining it. You know what I mean? It's a little bit like trying to remember a dream. You're like, it's not it.
But you definitely still are in a place then where there is other than this world. Not that you're escaping it or anything, but it grounds you in being able to, not that it has to have a purpose, but like where you feel like you can just be.
Yeah.
Which is important.
And that's why you ask, what is the nature of it? One of the things I would say about it is fulfilled or without agitation.
Yeah, there's no want.
It's desireless. It's eternal. Doesn't mean everlasting in time. It means outside of time. So it's outside of time. Yeah. It's one. So there's no separation. And if you take away separation and time, then it's a Buddhist saying, no self, no problem. Yeah. All of our problems obviously come from an idea of separation. You're doing this to me, I'm doing this to you. Yeah. And they all also exist in time. You take those two things away, you have naked, pure, people use light, whatever you want to say, but it's you.
It's so funny. It's so funny because that is like the extreme polar opposite of what we do as our jobs, which is relish in all of the mishigas, all of the stuff, all of the
10,000 things.
I love that. I love those things, and I write so many songs about that.
Of course,
and I love.
But when people are enjoying it,
or hating it, or anything, just interacting with it.
I think that they're interacting with it, not in their minds. Again, this is Rupert Spira. He says, if you're experiencing beauty, you're experiencing being. You do that from your being.
Right.
Like if I'm thinking about your music.
Right.
I'm not really merging with it. And art is the same way, and comedy is the same way. We're doing all of these things. He actually would add to the list bungee jumping or sex or anything is a desire, like the moth to the flame, to go into the flame and be consumed by it. Right. We want to go away.
Or maybe on the flip side, we enjoy being in it. We don't even know. It may not be on purpose we're doing it. You know, like
of course we're not doing it. I don't think we would do it on
peanut
purpose.
Butter cup so that I'm like in that moment with the peanut butter cup.
When I realized that like going in a hole.
You could use it as a tool also.
Sure. Well, then we go back to it thinking it was the Reese's peanut butter cup.
And you could say, I'm going to eat a Reese's peanut butter cup because that is a way for me to touch base with this place.
Or drugs.
Like,
but that's the problem. Or it's not the problem.
It could be the problem with drugs. People saying I have to do this over and over again.
Or the Reese's peanut butter cup.
Or
the
perform on
song.
stage when you're just in that moment where your brain is.
Totally. And now you're chasing.
Yeah.
But that's why we go like, I am that awareness.
Right.
What is the nature of that awareness? It's fulfilled. So the game becomes not looking to objective reality, which even if it does satisfy you, that's going to be diminishing returns. This is the Buddhist like life is suffering idea. So you can't find it out there. And more, even in this conversation, we can keep a little bit of our awareness sort of anchored in that being and go like, maybe Lisa is going to hate this. And you know what? We're all dead anyway. It's all over anyway.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? This is what Jesus said. Jesus says, don't store your treasure where moth and rust will corrupt it.
Right.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Who cares? You know.
Exactly. It doesn't. And this is Judaism.
No.
Rabbi
Just Jesus.
Telushkin, just Jesus.
Just
said
Jesus,
Jesus
please.
was a Jew.
Fuck.
Is that really his name? Okay.
Yeshua.
Yeah. So
Joshua.
But there's a thing that like
Jesus, or was it a fuck joke?
no.
Oh,
It wasn't. I don't even know what you're talking about.
You said is that his real name? Keep going.
Okay. That Rabbi Telushkin, I don't know who said this, but there's a book of like Jewish wisdom, and I love this. I don't know what you would call it. It's not a parable, but it's just like a concept. There may be a story of it that's a parable, but you go around with a coat, and in one pocket you hold a note that says "I'm nothing," and in the other coat pocket you say "I'm everything."
That's it.
But that's the to me the joy
the
is not
paradox.
living in the "I'm nothing"
Yes.
and the nothingness. It's the relationship between the two,
Yeah.
and being able to always be able to pop out of it and be like, oh my God, we're these weird humans and these like skin suits
so
that it's like
right.
walking around, and then like I'm having an argument about what color I'm going to paint my toenails, or like whether you can get your
right,
ear pierced, or
right.
you know what we're having for dinner. Like the humanness. It's like we're watching a show where we appreciate the mundane
Yeah.
moments, and I love that.
I really, first of all, I love that. I'm nothing in one pocket, because people can get almost nihilistic and fatalistic and a little bit depressed.
Yeah. You
They'll
can
come
remove
back
yourself so much from everything
and
too.
go like it's all.
You're like, it doesn't matter. We're all dead. It is, this doesn't matter.
I would say
you
it's joyfully irrelevant.
Exactly.
If you just come back and say it's
You're
irrelevant,
engaged.
you didn't get all of it. And that's why the second part of it is you go, what is the nature of that which is noticing the irrelevance? And it's fulfilled and blissful and peaceful and full of itself. And you are it.
The Buddha's smiling.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's you.
Yeah.
The Buddha is a symbol of your true nature. So it couldn't be closer. And like, oh God, I get so excited thinking about this. But
Right.
that really
And then
is
this is
good
when
news.
Rabbi talks about your higher self. Like
That's right.
he loves talking to people who are atheists. Well, that's a whole other conversation. But like, I think of myself more as like an atheist, more because I don't think God makes people do stuff, or God can be used often in many of the sentences you find in prayer books. It's not, but when you think about the concepts and you get into the feeling or these kind of conversations of what you might find in these religious places, or the way that you act, or the conversations you have, you get to this higher place, and that is a higher place. There is something different about that.
Of course. And that
can be
spacious
quote unquote God.
Awareness is God.
So I
It's
believe in that But so many prayer books and so many things are written
No.
like,
You
oh
and I
God,
are the same.
blah, blah,
you
blah.
and I are the same. I don't think it's finding you a parking spot. Here, maybe you'll enjoy this.
Right.
I don't think God exists. Because to exist, this is pure Rupert Spira. To exist means to stand out from. To use a Jewish expression, God is the ground of being.
Yeah.
It's like people in a movie arguing for the existence of the screen, but the people in the movie don't know there is a screen, because the screen isn't in the movie.
Right.
In the same way,
Yeah.
God isn't in the movie. It's the ground of
Right.
being. But I don't think, if you really can think about one thing in its purest, truest expression, it doesn't even really know about Lisa. So Lisa can't it gets kind of, people want to think about an old man in the sky, because that's a guy going like,
Right.
I'm going to give you,
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke's going to live in your building and you're going to have a hit record.
Yeah.
But it's so much less personal
It's not.
and outside of the story than that.
It's a they say God is a verb, but it's like there is no part of speech that captures that.
Or your story.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly.
Blissfully irrelevant.
Which is why and then it's like, oh my gosh, well, how could people write prayer books? I mean, I like in Buddhism, from what I know, it's more of like the way. It's a way. It's the way. It's not, oh God, give me a bike.
Right.
Although, when you do say, oh God, give me a bike, you're like, well, what do I really want? Why do I want a bike? I want to have fun. Oh, I should have more fun. I'm focusing on having fun now. What is fun to me? And then you end up you try to get what you want, and because you believed there was some external God, it made you have God in your life, which might be, or whatever God, have some kind of engagement in your life and a sort of appreciation and existence in your own life that
And that's
makes you
fine.
exist. And that's fine.
fine.
There's a long way to go to get there, but
I think, we're talking about transcending and including. When I was young, I needed a God that was an old man who was watching out for me. And then ironically, I needed to get, or not in line with that, not ironic necessarily, but like I needed to get divorced so I could see that it wasn't that way.
You learn so much from
suffering.
Oh my gosh, I've learned so much from my things that have
didn't work.
Yeah.
But
And then I'm
because
like,
you
oh my gosh, I can make it work now because now I understand how that was
interesting.
working. Or not.
I can
or
fix
not.
it.
Or I could see things. There's a great book called If the Buddha Dated by Charlotte Castle. She has a bunch of different books.
So hot.
And yeah, it's so good. It's so good though, but it's like, oh right. Like it helps you look at life the way it is, which is another big thing the rabbi talks about, looking at life the way it is. Like not pretending it's other ways. But anyway. But yeah, so religion, I was like, eh. And then I was like dating people, not religious people, Catholic people. And I was like, why do I have this voice in my head? Like, you need to meet a nice Jewish, my parents are from Texas. They don't even have a New York accent.
Yeah,
you need to meet a nice Jewish
do.
boy
Yeah.
and get married and have kids. And I was like, I need to get married and have kids. And I was getting older and older. And I was like, why do I have this voice like guiding me? Like, why do I have to find a Jewish guy? Like what I don't even know about my own connection with Judaism. Meanwhile, always still doing the Hallmark holidays, the high holidays and Passover, still being interested and curious. But then I remember my friend Beth said, oh, you can go to, when I got to LA, she's like, oh, you can, well, there are two things that happened. One was my friend Beth said, oh, you can, go to these services. It's easy to get in. You don't have to pay a lot of money. You pay, but there's some services for high holidays. You can't even get a ticket. They're already sold out. Like you gotta get a scalper. I mean, like Larry David did a thing about scalpers tickets probably too.
Oh, wow.
Jewish holidays, but you can't get in. And I didn't belong to a synagogue. So I went to the place. She said you could get in. I went to the place and services started and I was just ready to like break a couple of toothpicks and stick them in my eyes so I could like keep my eyes open for 3 hours or whatever. Like, what am I going to do? This is going to be so boring. And the rabbi was Rabbi Finley, and he started explaining what was happening during the service and explaining the essence of certain prayers. If you're bored, find one word in the prayer book that you want to go into or think about. He wanted you to be in a place that was engaged, that was introspective, that was thinking about how you've acted this year, who you are, what you're, this deep meditative
like
place, but telling you how, and also explaining things like the reason this part of the prayer is here is because way in the olden days, it was like as if somebody played a snippet of a Beatles song. When somebody read this little snippet of a phrase, they thought of the entire, they knew the whole thing well enough where if somebody said, let me take you
down,
you could imagine the entire song immediately.
Yeah.
That was like the little phrase in the prayer book that now we're reading as the only phrase in the prayer book. And we don't know the rest of the thing that goes with it.
It's a callback to something we don't understand.
Exactly. We have no idea. And we're all just like sitting there reading and standing and sitting and standing and sitting.
That's funny. I wrote that. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, you can say it.
No.
I'll come back.
No, go.
No. So anyway, I was like, oh, and then I ran into another college friend it was like the Wilshire E-Bell. And he said, oh, well, if you like this rabbi, and I went back for the services the next day. I didn't even know traditionally that second day was supposed to go all the way till 6 o'clock. I thought when you broke your fast, it was lunchtime. No, there's these services that go all the way until like sundown. And then it was so interesting. I wanted to hear more. I wanted to hear more about the traditions and the prayers and it was hitting a very deep, different level. And I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. I never really thought about it that way. He's sort of answering all these questions that I have had since I was a tiny little kid. Yeah. I'm wondering like, why are we here? Why do I do this? And then my friend said, oh, you could take his class. And I'm like, I'm on tour. I can't go take classes at a place. And it's University of Judaism. That sounds so religious. It's kind of, I played a gig there once by accident. I didn't know. It was like, am I supposed to say Jewish stuff on stage? Like I'm just a Jewish musician. But I went to this, I ended up taking the class. It was like $100. There was no papers. It's just like lectures. And it was so interesting. And then I found out, oh, well, if you go to services on Saturday, he teaches in the morning. He like talks about some more of this stuff. And then after you read the Torah, he says some more stuff. And I remembered in the service, there's a prayer for the people who have passed away. There's a prayer for people who are sick, There's some very like practical things to focus on, which I really enjoyed. Before I knew it, I was like, I don't need to make friends. I already have friends. I've got my childhood friends and my college friends and my music friends and I ended up making all these friends. We would come in and out of services, go to Starbucks, come back, listen to the interesting parts. And all of a sudden I was like super Jewish-y, going to services every Saturday morning. I was making space in it in my life. Like it was this weird thing. And it wasn't really God-y. It was just very like we're talking about, like being able to having these kind of conversations and thoughts every week on a schedule. Yeah. Like it was like, I really enjoy that. And it wasn't weirdly religious, even though it was at a, synagogue. I started getting really into it. And it was funny. Then I spoke to another rabbi who made me realize that, well, I think she was the one who made me realize I either need to learn more about Judaism or kind of put it aside as one of those things in my head, like I need to meet a nice Jewish guy. Because if it was yoga, I don't really do yoga, but if it was like the food that I eat or other things, I would go deep into it to like figure it out. But for Judaism, I was like, it's just annoying. It's just something I have to do. But it was taking up so much space in my mind about my relationships and who I'm going to meet. I realized after learning more about Judaism, I just needed to meet somebody who was also a very nostalgic person. They didn't have to be Jewish. I just wanted them to be thoughtful, introspective. Sure. Of course, then I met a very Jewish guy who thought I was really religious. His Israeli family thought I was like really religious because I went to services every week. Like, is she too Jewish? I'm like,
I can't believe I'm saying this, but is she too Jewish?
Exactly. Seriously, is she too Jewish? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm that person. But anyway, it opened my eyes to asking other people about their religions, trying to learn more about what we do, why, what does it mean? It's not a boring thing. That's
what Rabbi Finley's
yeah.
so good at it.
Yeah.
Is he's unembarrassed because he really knows it, and he ties it to a time and a place and a culture and a practice. So it's smart.
Yeah.
It's the same thing Ram Dass did for me. That's Ram Dass up there on the wall. Intellectual guy.
That's Steve Martin.
No, they're right there. Some people think it's Alan Alda. But like an intellectual guy, very smart, very articulate, very funny.
Knowledgeable about Jewish traditions, so we can tie it specifically.
Exactly. And then what's key for me is not embarrassed, like meaning they've embodied it in a certain way that's very attractive. And that's one of the things, like I like talking about it with you because, you were interested and we're both interested so we can chat about it. But for the most part, it's just like, it's another Rupert Spira thing. He goes like, people don't argue with peace. If someone seems like at peace or like they have some connection to their source, that's the most compelling thing in the universe. Like Buddha and Christ didn't hand out flyers. You know what I mean? And
where's the Kinko's?
And the miracles.
How do you work this? They couldn't figure out the copy machine.
That
Remember
would be a real miracle.
Figuring out the copy machine to put up flyers.
Xerox
to like come
these
see.
things.
Yeah, I think it's not in frame. It keeps the.
Yes. Yeah. Somebody that embodies that is always going to be compelling, whether it's Rabbi Finley or Ram Dass or these other great teachers.
And I think it does feel sometimes weird and religious-y, but I do find the value in the holidays and the essences of the and look, that they mark time. And the rabbi would be like, you don't really have to go to synagogue. It's not a thing. Like, you could do this at home, but will you have these thoughts if you're sitting at home?
Yeah.
Will you remember to? That's
right.
Granted, I haven't been going to synagogue, but like, if you don't have some kind of structure, how can you?
Something that occurred to me at one point, I go, it's all us. It's all the same I. So everything is a benevolent sort of trap. It's like a little trick that we're playing on ourselves. So we stumble, we suffer, we go to synagogue, we stop going to synagogue. It's all for it. And it's sort of a nice way of saying it all belongs.
Yeah.
This belongs. It's all you.
It reminds me of a game of Clue, too, where you're just like you could say, like, it doesn't matter. All the pieces are the same in Clue. Colonel Mustard's the same as Professor Plum. Yeah. But you're like, no, I really want to be Professor Plum. I like the color. And there's the joy in, like, being so human.
Yeah, get lost in it.
It's super exciting.
Well, that's what Christianity really shines in the two. It's like the two pockets. Divine and fully divine, fully human. That's not just what Jesus was. That's what we're all called to be. I was just laughing with my friend Sam about this. Sometimes it's like we get so like, oh, this is an illusion. It has a reality, but it's not what it appears to be. And there's almost a voice that goes like, shh, go eat ice cream. Like, I know we were like this. All of this won't be real, but like this undulating, perfect, fulfilled light. But we also wanted to have this dream or do this dance or play this song is another way to do it. So like, go do it. Rumi has a great poem about that where it's like, stop wondering who planted the orchard and eat some apples.
Oh, that's a really good way to say it.
Yeah.
But it is good once a week to think about who planted the orchard.
To me, it's both pockets.
It's both.
The paradox.
It's both. Exactly. But I love it is, and I guess it's different for different people, what they need to do that. What bums me out is when I meet people who are just like against everything. Not that they have to believe anything we're talking about or be able to think about it this way or want to think about it this way, but they poo-poo it before they have a chance to even.
Well, because somebody
like I tasted the coconut
Vita
water
Coco.
again.
Say it by name.
I tasted the Vita coconut water
which
again.
you didn't care for.
But I wanted to taste it again because I know how good it is for you and how refreshing and
how maybe you want a flavored one. There's a pineapple one.
Oh, I do love pineapple flavored stuff. When it has actual pineapples in it, and also
it does. Oh, that's your magic mind.
Oh my gosh, I'm so scared to take
Little
it.
matcha.
I'm like, it's gonna upset my stomach.
It won't.
It won't.
It's that was like Jewish stereotype
I know,
voice.
Totally.
Jewish stereotype voice approved. Like you'll enjoy it.
It will actually upset my stomach. Probably.
Katie, have you had one? Yeah.
Really? And
I turned to Katie as the
like?
Jewish stomach.
What does it do? Is it going to make me remember what's his name's name?
Yeah. It actually would have been great if you took it about an hour ago.
Next time, send these to people.
Please drink this on the drive down.
I remember once in Dallas growing up, I think we were like in 6th grade or something. And I remember, I'm not going to name names. And I remember who it was, but it was so over the top. I love this kid. It was so over the top. It was so like, it's 1970s in Dallas. A limousine drove up and a man came out and delivered to the door in a cardboard tube the invitation to this kid's party.
Fun.
That was very fancy.
Very rich.
That'd be neat if you did. It'd be fun if you did that with.
I think you would like that as a performer
magic mind
too.
I should try it.
This seems like an ad. It's not. You could use promo code weird, but
is it energy? Wonderful. Like, can I take it that late in the day? Is that kind of day?
You're fine.
So my brain will just. It just is. On the way here, I was like, I hope I'm awake enough to be able to make conversation.
You're doing great. You're doing wonderful. This is a day off for me. Pardon the interruption, weirdos. This episode is brought to us by our friends at Brain FM. Brain FM is an app that plays specially, scientifically, specifically designed music to help you drop into a flow state. I swear by it. I've tried other ways, other music. I always end up being completely distracted, pulled out of the writing, pulled out of the emails, whatever I'm trying to bang out. Brain FM takes all the guesswork out of it. You hit one button, you select the styles of music you want, and you drop in. I'm talking about real composers, human composers that create amazing sounding music that doesn't distract and uses patented audio technology to boost your mental states on demand. We're talking about focus. We're talking about relaxation and meditation. We're talking about sleep. It is incredible and it is proven. They have this music that changes the patterns in your brain, creating increased blood flow and electrical activity in your brain and increases focus in as little as 5 minutes. That's the science. I'll tell you, as someone who's been using it for years, it makes a huge difference. It signals to my brain, calm down, focus in, dial in, get to work. Regular music is designed to be distracting, so you're constantly having to be interrupted. Got to skip songs, pulling you out of the flow. Not with Brain FM. Sorry. Stop the skipping. Brain FM has a wide variety of sounds and genres, from natural soundscapes to lo-fi electronic, which is what I love, that get you in the zone almost immediately without having to pick the perfect playlist, and it's science-backed. They have the scientific research to back up their claims through close collaboration with neuroscientists and a wide array of field experiments and testing. But even better, human music is dope. I love it. It's great. It signals to me it's time to get to work. So go to brain.fm/weird and you'll get 30% off your first year of Brain FM and start getting more done with less effort and unlock your best self on demand. Experience the difference that the right music can make in your life, in your work life, in your creative life. Go to brain.fm/weird for 30% off. We're also brought to us by our friends at Living Libations. I'm always saying, if you guys want to support the show, but you don't know how, or you want to just do something small, Living Libations is the company for you. They make natural, whole foods, meaning the ingredients are things you will recognize and understand what they are, intended for human consumption: skin care, hair care, teeth, baby care. If you have something in your medicine cabinet that is a blue goo or that has 40,000 ingredients, most of them are numbers and consonants, get that stuff out of your body. They're filled with toxicity levels that were not intended for humans. You don't need me to tell you that. You know when you're putting something unnatural on your skin, it's getting into your body, it's getting into your blood, and that toxicity has got to be flushed out. So don't put it in. Living Libations is here to save the day. I love their best skin ever. We just had a beach day 2 days ago, and I came home kind of crispy. Put on the best skin ever face moisturizer. Feels wonderful. I put it on every night before bed. Keeps my skin radiant and glowing and healthy. And also, you look at the ingredients, there's not anything from the periodic table on there. There's no chemicals. There's no numbers. There's no ampersands. It's made with stuff you will recognize, good enough to put in your body. It's the most effective skin, hair, eyes, teeth, and baby products I've ever found, and also the most natural. Now that it's summer, we're coming out of summer, but we still use the zinc-based sunblock for Lila, which is called Love the Sun. A lot of the naturals claiming sunblocks on the market aren't actually natural. Their Love the Sun is amazing and works fantastic and lasts a really, really long time. A little dab will do ya. A little dab will do ya. So this is a great way to support the show. Run onto their site. Go to livinglibations.com/weird. You'll get 15% off everything you see there. Get something small. Get something big. Get something for your gums. Get something for your hair. Get something for your skin. Whatever you need, support your body and support the show by going to livinglibations.com/weird. You have a Paul Rudd quality. I'm not going to say how old you are, but what's going on, Lisa Loeb?
Well,
are you
I'm like, I drink a lot of Coke.
You do not drink a lot of
I don't know.
water.
I really am. I think
are you just lucky?
Good jeans.
Good jeans.
Not wearing jeans. No, jeans
Nice.
are so uncomfortable sometimes.
Good skirts.
Be
Good
comfortable.
dress.
Yes.
Sorry, good
thank
dress.
You.
I'd like to wear a dress.
You could
That
do
seems
that.
very nice. I know I could. I feel liberated to do it. But it seems like a nice perk of being gender normative. You grew up in a time ladies wear dresses and you wear a dress. It seems so scandalous.
Yeah.
You have like no bottom half. You're just an umbrella.
It feels a little. I was about to tell you. You feel a little scandalous.
It's a little
I was like, maybe I
scandalous.
should wear leggings. I might feel more comfortable.
Not for you. I just
but
mean
I'm just
dresses
thinking,
in general. Not
they
you
are.
right now.
They are. They're
like
so.
you're at a party and
Yeah.
you're one subway vent away from a Marilyn Monroe.
Seriously, I'm
What a
always
thrill.
thinking. Yes, and I have to wear weights in my dresses when I'm on stage. Of
course.
I had an idea. I used to put either lots
Like
of duct
scuba
tape.
diving.
Yeah, a lot of duct tape or I tape coins, if you can find coins anymore, to the bottom of your skirt.
So that
don't when you're
frill up.
on stage, it doesn't poof up.
Give
I
that
wore a
front
dress
row.
the other night on stage. It was perfect.
Your
exactly.
OnlyFans
Free show. Yeah, I actually have mathematical equations for the length of my skirt, because I do feel better in shorter skirts. The length of my skirt, the height of the stage, the closeness to the audience. It's like a calculus
No, I get
equation that I have to think about.
You do have to think about it.
I have to think about it.
This is show business.
I went the most recent tour. I went out with Lyle Lovett 40 or 30
That's what
years
I was gonna
later.
say. I think he's a handsome man. He always got all that guff for dating Julia Roberts and not
They
being
got
handsome.
married.
Right, married.
Oh, so when
like,
I met John Denver at that concert,
yeah.
that was back in the 90s. Backstage, catered food, rice and beans. He came over and
Is he a
asked.
veg?
He isn't. I don't know if he is, but I don't think he is. But we were sitting next to each other, and I was saying something
isn't
about.
he dead?
He is now. Yeah.
Yeah.
He passed away. In a plane crash or
Oh,
something.
no, that's
that he was
right.
flying the plane. But Lyle Lovett and I had just gotten off a motorcycle ride, my first and only motorcycle ride.
He gave you a motorcycle
I
ride?
was on the back of his Ducati. He got me full leathers to wear, so that when you crash
Put on
your
the leathers, Loeb.
when you crash your body all stays in one.
Yeah. Really, the
but
cow
it was
takes
a
the
little
damage.
rainy. Oh God, it was terrible. But it was fun and kind of scary.
Yeah,
in
course.
Colorado. But then we were.
That's what it is. A motorcycle is a dress for a boy. It's the same level of titillation.
Yes, and
Just
it's
kidding, keep going.
that power, just showing everybody how
Raw
strong
power.
they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary, but it was fun. But
John Denver. No?
So John Denver came over and I offered him some of my rice and beans and he took some and he had it. I wonder if we even had our picture taken. We didn't even have like cell phones galore. I don't even know if we have a picture together.
But if you did, would you look at it? It's like Rabbi Finley.
I would. I'd look back. I'm like, that's the first time I
you
met.
would.
I do look because of social media.
Yeah, you would.
I do look back at pictures
That's
even
what I do
more.
on an airplane where you just go through your old photos.
And you're like, oh, I should post this.
No.
Because if I post this and someone sees a picture of me with you,
Yeah.
they may want to help me send my kids to school.
Yeah.
They may want to help me
You mean
feed my
come to a
children.
shoe.
Come to a show.
Come to a shoe show.
Listen to music. They may be like, oh yeah, maybe I'll listen to her music because I saw a picture of her with somebody, which is so ridiculous. But
look, it's not polite.
and it's also fun having that memory. Like, oh my God, we were there. That happened.
Yeah.
I'm very nostalgic. So
Yeah. Who or what is aware of that memory? Here we go.
who, what, or where, or
when is aware of that memory?
Yeah.
Here's a slightly cheeky question, but you're gonna love it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's not like didn't even need a disclaimer. I remember Noah Greenbaum. There's a nice Jewish boy.
Yes.
Who wrote Spirit in the Sky.
Yeah.
I believe Jimmy Fallon told this story that he was at Noah Greenbaum's house in California.
Like that old song, Spirit in the Sky.
Yeah,
that one.
It's a great song.
It's kind of religious-y.
It is a little, well, it's very.
There's a couple like that from the
Gotta
70s
have
and 80s.
a friend in Jesus.
Yeah, he says the word Jesus.
There was a time when that was, I mean, George Harrison put Hare Krishna in a song.
I was
these
like,
were
I
hits.
think this is really religious, and I'm not sure people know.
George
I
Harrison,
don't
no,
know why
they
I was
don't
thinking
know.
that. I was like, this
They
is like a
don't know.
chant that people sing it like.
But maybe at the time, in the 60s and 70s,
Yeah.
being spiritual was like cool, like a little bit
Experimental.
more. Yeah. Not too dogmatic, but
Yeah.
a little into it. Anywho,
Unless you're like Pat Boone. But anyway, yeah.
Pat Boone, Debbie Boone.
Yeah.
So he goes, I have two houses. I have a house in New York. I have a house in L.A. And he goes, I wrote one song. Is that your experience? Did Stay?
It can be.
Yeah.
It was a great, it's funny because, I mean, both creatively and financially, luckily.
Yeah, I don't mean to be gauche, but it's interesting.
Yeah, and especially at that time when people could actually sell records.
That's
and
what I mean. You were in the
actually
window.
Played on the radio,
Yeah.
and you actually got
Residuals.
proper royalties and residuals.
Royalties, yeah, BMI.
Yeah, exactly. BMI. Thank you, BMI. Yeah, it definitely made a huge impact. And also just the more hit songs you can have, the more people know you.
Yeah.
And also being on TV is good. And MTV at the time was TV.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's how I heard Stay for the
Yeah, it
first
was
time.
on MTV. But I will say that
It was a one-take video.
also I have a great team. I have an attorney I've been working with for over 30 years. My longtime man. Well, anyway, I had a great team. We kept the rights completely to the recording. We licensed it to the record
Taylor's
company.
version?
Yeah, Taylor's version.
Lisa's
I had my
version.
own version that I did not have to re-record that song.
Yeah.
Ever because I've completely owned that song.
Who had the foresight to do that? Was it because
My
it was
attorney.
already...
My attorney. I had
wow.
recorded it and they're like, you know what? We're not sure if we're going to sign to this label or not. RCA Records, who was great
Because they
marketing
wanted
the single.
to own it.
People always want to own everything.
Of course.
They don't want they want to own it. That's where the income is.
Of course.
So we kept it and then we licensed it to RCA for the Reality Bite soundtrack, licensed it to Geffen Records, who signed me to a major label in the 90s a year later when I was #1 on the charts. That was a crazy time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they signed me and we licensed it to be on my first album because I wanted it to be on one of my own albums as well.
Oh, cool. Why was it a crazy time? I mean, I have a guess.
It was a crazy time because I had a #1 single, and at the same time, I was figuring out which label I wanted to sign with.
Yeah.
Normally, it goes the other way. I mean, there were labels already interested for many years, even when I was in college. It's cold in here. My nose is running.
We can turn it off.
I just need to get a tissue.
I love these real moments.
All the pockets.
You were about to launch into something. I feel like everyone was leaning in.
I know. I was like, so anyway,
interested.
excuse me, I gotta go.
Okay, so you had a #1 single, and it usually goes the other way because
yeah.
it was in Reality Bites.
Oh, and so-
it was a hit before you were signed.
Yeah, and so there were people interested, record companies, record industry type of people interested early on. Thank you. Even in college, I was doing a podcast on Zoom the other day with your friend David Duchovny.
Oh yeah.
And I was trying to get.
How is old David? As if we don't know each other that well.
I know. I'm like, can I call you David? Do I call you Pete or Peter, or should I call you by your whole name?
David
I've
Duchovny,
started
why
doing
don't
a
you love
thing.
me?
I started doing a thing with some people. Like when I met Anna Kendrick a few years ago,
Love.
I said, okay, because we avoided each other backstage at an Ingrid Michaelson show. We saw each other backstage, but I didn't want to bother her, and I didn't say anything. But I was like, oh my gosh, she's in Trolls, and
Great voice.
I know, great voice, and so then we were all walking back to our cars after being at the Troubadour, and we happened to be on the same street, my husband and I, and she was with a guy, and
Details.
and then so I know, and I'm like, I have no idea. I need to go to more doctors. I never read people.
Yeah. That's a funny way to put it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But so so then we sort of inched next to each other, and I'm like, hi, I wanted to meet you. I'm Lisa. She's like, I wanted to meet you too. I'm Anna. So we talked for a while, and then at the end of the conversation, I said, okay, so I have this question. When I see you on TV, can I say, oh, I know her. She's my friend Anna. And she's like, yes. Can I do the same thing with you? When I see you on TV, can I say, I know you? And I said, yes, we'll say that like we're friends now. We know we had an agreement.
Yes.
Because
so it's
there
official.
have been situations where, again, I think I know someone, I have had a long conversation with them in a parking lot, and then I meet them on a school tour, and they're like, hi, nice to meet you. I'm womp, womp, womp. And I'm like, I thought I knew you.
Look, I'm not claiming Duchovny. I did talk to him for 2 hours, though, which is
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
longer than most of his friends have talked to him.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's weird too when you realize you're talking longer to people on
When you
podcasts
talk to your
than you
dear
talk
friends,
to your friends.
yeah,
I know.
that's not a slight on him. I'm just saying, like,
I know,
rarely.
I
You have
know.
dinner with a friend, it's an hour.
Exactly.
Hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah, talking on the phone on the way to pick up your kid.
I got that premium decoding.
On the Zoom, and I was like, oh gosh, my nose is running. It was early in the morning. He's like, your nose is bleeding. My nose was bleeding.
Oh, no.
I know. It was bleeding. I don't know.
I'm looking for an X-Files joke. I can't do it.
I know. Well, then I was thinking, wait, there was an X. Oh, I know.
I want to believe.
X-Files joke was
I want to believe.
I had to record on my own end, also on my own computer. That's when my nose started bleeding because I was just trying to get, just during that time when I was getting 2 different apps recording. I'm all technological too, but now, especially since COVID, but recording on my end on 2 different apps. And when I send the files, I should be like Lisa Loeb X-Files. I should call them like X-Files or something. That'd be cute, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he'd like that.
I don't really care. See, that's the thing. I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm
You were
I'm
on the
all in
X-Files.
it. I'm like, I met him when he was on the X-Files.
You were on the X-Files. That's what you should call it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were on the X-Files.
He was so smoldering, and he was named Mulder, and he smoldered.
Oh, they must have. Was he Agent Mulder or was she Agent Mulder?
He's Mulder.
I don't remember.
She's
She was
Scully.
Agent. Oh, Scully and Mulder, right.
And there was the song, David Duchovny, Why Don't You Love Me? You probably know who wrote that song.
I don't remember.
You're probably friends with them.
Who is it?
I don't know.
But I don't remember.
Some 90s lady.
I don't know.
You definitely knew them.
I got selfies with them with my Polaroid camera.
Limp Bizkit?
I did. I do know Fred. That's Fred Durst? Yeah, I think we have the same birthday.
Durst Day? Aren't you March?
Loeb Day, March 11th. And also I think the same as, Johnny Knoxville, but you know his real name. But I think we have the same birthday too.
Do I? Jonas Lieberowitz?
No.
Is it something like that?
No, I don't know. Anyway, yeah,
So one of those?
No,
like Michael Ian Black?
Yeah, I know. Somebody's like, is that your real name, Lisa Loeb? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, that's a really clever name I made up to be myself. It's so weird.
You mean it is your real name?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But like, well, how would that be the name? It's not like
Loeb?
Yeah, Loeb is just like
But Lisa
whatever.
Loeb.
It's
Lisa
not
Loeb.
like, but it's not like something you
Would
make up.
Stay have been as big of a hit if your name was Lisa Johnson?
I met someone recently whose last name was Golightly. That sounds like it's a fake name.
Yeah. I worked with a comedian named Randy Chestnut.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a country
But
singer.
it was his real name. Randy Chestnut.
It's
a great comedian name.
Oh my God. It's a chestnut. Okay.
So Loeb is real.
Loeb is real. And
Loeb is all you
so
need.
Yes.
All you need is Loeb.
Yes. I did see this meme. I don't know if it's not a meme. It's just a little phrase that goes around on the internet. That's not a meme, is it? No.
I don't think it's what the internet calls a
paragraph.
meme, but I think that's a meme.
But it's something like, I don't know the exact thing, but it's like nestled between the frontal lobe and the temporal lobe is
Full
the Lisa
frontal
Loeb.
lobe, as if
it
you ever
only
did
hears what it
nudity.
wants to. It's so
I
cute.
shouldn't have been trying for my full frontal lobe.
I know. We
Because
can
it
make up
only
some new
hears
ones.
what it wants
because
to.
there's the Lisa Loeb. It only hears what it wants to. It's very cute.
I think in my research, it's not no.
No, it's no, yeah. No, bad.
No, bad.
No, bad.
I wonder if people know that.
Do you know how you can find out? This is where you researched it. I sing that song so much, and that is actually a song I don't not look forward to, unless I'm feeling a little under the weather. I did write it with a capo, which is something you put on your guitar that can change the key.
Yeah.
It's very high on the neck, the capo, so it's in a high key, so I can easily make it lower.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike some of my
Elton
other
John.
songs.
We saw Elton John play, and
Do you know what's funny?
He's like, Rocket Man.
Do you know what's funny?
Wow,
When I
Elton.
was a kid, I used to sit in the closet with my friend Jasmine or my friend Lisa, and we had our best of the 70s songs, and we would sing Elton John, and that was one of the artists, unlike The Rose or the Debbie Boone song, where the songs were naturally in the right key for me because I have a little bit of a lower voice. So his voice, as
You're an
Elton John
Elton
from
voice.
the 70s, it was like,
Yeah,
but now it is
But
very
now
high.
he lowers it.
It's difficult. So that song I can always sing, but it's a song that I end up singing when I do anything, and I appreciate it because I do
Your own song.
My own song stay.
Yeah.
I have to sing it at any fundraiser I play, anything.
Is it your encore or your opener?
I actually had a lot of experience where I learned when it was really popular on the radio, I would do radio shows where it was you and Kool and the Gang and like the Counting Crows and Cher and whoever, and you would play a set, and if I played it early in the set, the audience would just leave. They were like, "We heard our song, we're done."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Yeah, I know my
It's hard to get them to.
If it's my
stay.
real audience, exactly.
Okay, come on.
Stay. Hey, yeah.
Hey, I'll play it again in Spanish.
I saw somebody do that actually the other night. I was in an 80s concert.
They played it twice.
They played, it was You Can Dance If You Want To, Men Without Hats. They played it earlier, and then the crowd really got more heavy. At the very end, they were like, thank you so much. These are for all the people who showed up late. And they were joking. They were very dry. They're very funny, this band, Men Without Hats. And they played it again. And they were like, I don't care. This is what they're here to see.
Yeah.
We're going to do it again.
Who cares?
But so having had that experience.
But you do sing Stay to yourself, and you play it where?
Where do I play Stay?
You're about to say it.
Oh, no. I play it usually if I have an hour and a half set, hour 15, I play it 2/3 of the way through, right before usually a quiet song that I want them to listen to because they're like listening really hard at that point. And then they listen, and then I play a quiet song, and then I do some requests of my own songs, and then a couple more songs. But I always play it later in the set.
So you make them say Stay?
Yes.
Nice.
Unless I'm playing at a fundraiser and I'm playing 3 songs, I might play an opening song, which is usually an upbeat song because my dad said that's when people pay attention.
Yeah.
An upbeat song, they have to pay attention basically because you're there. You just showed up on stage.
Yeah.
And then I throw in Stay. So I'm like,
ooh.
So people are like, oh, she's that girl with the glasses. I've heard this song before. And then I just play one more song.
Fey.
I wasn't exactly. I don't
Tina
know.
Stay.
Yeah, Tina Fey. But so I have to think specifically when to play it because it's like that's an anchor.
Yeah.
I have to figure out where the anchors are.
It seems like, look, if you're going to have a song that you have to play for the rest of your days, it seems like a fairly pleasant one. And I'm happy to...
It's a little hard. At times, when early days, I remember playing it with Dweezil Zappa where we were back in the late 99s and we were still playing the song even though there were other hit songs on the radio of mine a little bit.
Nice.
I would be playing Stay at a morning show and I'd get halfway through and I'm like, I don't know if I did this part already because there's no structure.
Yeah, there's no chorus.
And I started messing up and then laughing and then I just finally realized it will be okay. But the way to get to the harmonies is I sing it with so many people. I was trying to explain the harmonies to people who were like, well, I want to do this song with you. And I would sing the harmonies. I finally recorded myself singing the harmonies into my phone, just the harmonies. And then Amy Mann and Ted Leo, I did their Christmas show at Largo and they sang Stay With Me and they sang all the harmonies. Now they just perform the harmonies without the song Stay.
What do you mean? Like
they play Stay, but only the harmonies. And the harmonies come in like halfway through. So they just play music. And then about halfway through,
oh, that's very funny.
They sing, no, 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 bad.
Fun. Yeah. They know that it's no, no, no bad.
They know now. They might not have known, but now they know for sure. And you can find it and then you can.
Lisa Loeb, what do we say to the internet that is really about talking about how the music business is like crazy and evil and there are people that are like worshiping Satan and stuff? You were there.
Oh, like when you listen to records backwards?
No, not even that. Just like of all the aspects of show business, people seem to believe that like the music
because people are
industry,
taking advantage of people all the time. It's got to be the same in the stand-up world. There's like a common thread that people are taking advantage of people. The record industry is paying royalties that are tiny, and even when it costs less money to make the CD than it does to make the vinyl, they still are giving you tiny royalties if you don't have people representing you. People are buying your publishing.
Can I say?
Yeah.
Stay? Can I stay?
And you say, Stay.
Nice. Give the people.
I forgot to play
want.
Stay. I played so more recently. I played with Lyle Lovett.
Yeah.
And it was a 2-week tour, and you trade songs and you sit in chairs. In fact, with that, I usually stand when I play. I had to try on every single outfit to see if I was going to be too cheeky on stage.
Literally.
I had to try on every outfit with a guitar in front of a mirror.
Yeah.
To see what I could wear on stage. But so Lyle and I were playing, and
you forgot to play Stay?
I forgot to play Stay. We got a call from the promoter the next day wondering why I had not played Stay. I just totally
it's not
spaced.
in your contract?
I spaced. I didn't think about it. We were just playing, you play this song. What does that remind you of? Oh, I'll play this song.
Oh, fun.
No one shouted it out. But yeah, it's music industry. It can be evil.
Well, that's what I always take those stories as.
And creatively, it's evil.
Yes.
Because you work with people who don't like the way you're dressed or don't like the direction or want you to sing songs that
Well, did you run into that as a no?
I didn't run into that.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't run into that because I'm a singer-songwriter. I write my own songs or collaborate on them. I produce or co-produce all my records, my videos, my artwork, everything I'm involved in. And I'm what my friend Amy calls not a control freak, a quality control freak.
Ooh.
I'm very specific. I am very involved, and there's give and take. Sometimes I've lost out because I didn't want to take somebody's advice. Sometimes it's benefited me. because I took somebody's advice or collaborated with somebody and did something I wouldn't normally do. But
Can you think of a time?
that I benefited?
Yeah.
Oh, all the time. Especially now, I really collaborate all the time. I work with this guy, Rich Jacks, and we made a ton of records together, including a bunch of family-friendly kids records.
Yeah, I heard some of those. They're
And
great.
yeah, they're really, I really like playing them. But
He has good insight.
he's got good insight, and let's do this song, let's not perform
What
that
is
song.
the difference between a pop record and a kid's record? I mean, they're not that
I
different,
don't know.
right?
One somebody pays $1 million to get your song on the radio, and one somebody doesn't. I don't know. If you listen to my records, at least the way we make them and the way some of my other friends who make family-friendly records, it's all the same.
Yeah, it is all the same.
But we may be singing about, like I have a
Pop
song
music
called
is sexy kids music. A lot of the time.
and the topics vary. Like, I wrote a song with my friends about a pancake, the disappointing pancake. And that's
Is
like
it
one of
about
my
a
most
chode?
it's the disappointing pancake. It's about a pancake that's
Quite literally.
not so great at breakfast, but throughout the
Yeah.
day proves itself to be really helpful and successful. Steve Martin came in and played on that record.
What?
Hello.
Hello.
Can you believe it?
How was he? Was he deeply serious?
He was so serious. Okay.
He was so serious.
Steve Martin. Well, he was playing banjo. This was
Yeah.
before he had his whole Edie Brickell collaboration. Edie Brickell, a musician that he's made a couple records with and goes on tour and made a musical with, who's also from Dallas. But so we wrote the song. I had met Steve Martin at a sushi place in the Valley where we were sitting at tables next to each other, but we were.
Sashimi Martin?
Wait, whose joke is sashimi? That's somebody else's.
Sashimi? I barely
I
know
know.
her.
I know. It's,
Keep
that's
going.
somebody else's. So we met each other and we struck up a conversation, and he sent me a copy of his book and I sent him a copy of a record. And so I thought I knew him,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I had his phone number, and so we wrote The Disappointing Pancake, and it sounded like a banjo part in the record. And I was like, you know what? We should get a banjo player to play on it. Who do we know? I was like, I should call Steve Martin. You know when you like meet somebody and you have their number, you're like, well, I'll just call him.
Sure.
And then you're like, should I? But I did. I called him.
300,000 banjo players in California are like,
"Hey,
God
Steve
damn
Martin."
it.
I know. And I called him, and I ended up having to leave a message. I'm like, Steve Martin, this is Lisa Loeb.
Let me ask you this. Personalized voicemail greeting or standard?
I don't remember now.
I
should
can't imagine him
remember.
being like, hello.
It may have been his office. It may have even been like,
okay.
this is blah, blah, blah. So I left the message, and I was just kind of embarrassed, but like, whatever. I'm like, I left him a message. And I got a call back. I said, it's a song I think you might be great on. I may have said the title, The Disappointing Pancake.
Sounds like a C. Martin kind of flavor.
It is, totally.
Yeah.
Not to try to be, it wasn't like I was having a conversation with Ellen DeGeneres. I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's a fun song. We really like it. We would love for you to play on it. And so he called me back and he said, yeah. So we drove over. I think he had a white Lexus. I had a white Lexus. He was wearing it in a crew suit, like an off-white suit, like he does
No
in
way.
real life. He was wearing like a white linen suit, serious, banjo.
Cute.
Came in. It was a home studio in the Valley. Went to the little isolation room, and we sort of showed him what we were looking for, told him what we were looking for, and he played it, and he would look up and we'd be like, great job, and he'd go back to his banjo. And I always say that, I tell this story sometimes in my shows, and I'm like, and then he goes back to his banjo, we're like, or we go, great job, Steve, and then he goes back to play some more, we're like, Martin, Steve Martin.
Because you're not pressing the button
yeah,
for
we're
him
like,
to hear.
Steve Martin.
Fun.
Because it was Steve Martin.
Yeah.
And then it's funny, I ran into him backstage at Conan, and I said hello. And I
he
did that
didn't-
man
he
thing
didn't.
where I shake his hand. I'm like, hey, Lisa Loeb. Like I say my whole name before he has to even wonder who I am or why he's supposed to say hi to
yeah.
me. Because I'm just like, because I want to say hi to Steve Martin.
Yeah.
And he had a little conversation with them, and then he walked over back to a different area of the green room. And then I saw his publicist or someone talk to him, and I could hear them kind of being like, that's Lisa Loeb. You recorded on her record. And then a few seconds later, he kind of walked back to me and he's like, so anyway, hi. Like somebody, because I don't know that the
got
publicist knew that he
refreshed.
had already spoken to me. Like it was somebody like your mom saying, go speak to your uncle. He's
Like,
right
or
over
the
there.
president's aide being like,
Yeah.
this is the
This is a
executive
bagman,
of
yeah.
Kazakhstan. Yeah.
No, but I think that they didn't realize he had already done his due diligence speaking to me
But
for a
he
couple
came
of minutes.
back. He
But he
circled
came
back.
back. I know.
We, this feels, I don't know if it's invasive, but one time we were walking behind Steve Martin and I think his kid.
Oh.
I've never met him.
See, I don't even know.
I don't know if it's
I'm
his
just like
kid
Steve
or
Martin,
it was
somebody.
a child that he was taking care of. Clearly picking this kid up from somewhere Leela was.
Okay.
And all the
Which was my nickname when I was little, Leela.
Leela? Cute.
My brother called me Leela.
No way.
And my daughter's Lila.
No way.
I know.
My daughter is half the time Lila to people.
Yeah, you're like, no, Leela.
And
Okay.
she corrects them right away.
So you put like
She's
an umlaut
fierce.
over the I or like whatever would make it a long I?
Well, she can spell it however she wants. She right now she goes by other names. She just makes up other names. She'll tell people it's a different name. She's the coolest thing in the world.
Do you know one of the reasons I chose my daughter's name Lila, because other than the fact that I thought it suited her even though I hadn't met her yet, was that it ice skated really well.
Cute.
And you can ice skate your daughter's name
can
really well
write
too.
Lila. It's a good cursive name.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
What a great...
So you were walking behind Steve Martin.
And the child, who I think was his child, but I don't know, said something to him, and he didn't hear them, and he went, "Pardon?" And I was like, we say pardon to each other all the time. It's like when you're that big and important, he's super important to me.
He is really important.
That's all you need. Pardon? I just love that. That's the most Steve Martin thing in the world, is to
Yeah.
say pardon.
That's
like,
what- yeah.
It's like monkeys say what.
Yeah.
What?
We say pardon.
What? You say pardon. Like, pardon
Also,
me?
he's
I
like-
didn't
he's-
hear you. Pardon.
That's the whole
class.
reason. I know. That's the whole reason I make music for children and families.
Is to
It's because
teach
in
them?
the 70s, there were people like Steve Martin and Martin Mull and the old Sesame Street and old Electric Company and Free to Be You and Me, where there was no grown up and child.
Yeah.
They
would talk to them like a grown-up.
And that was part of the like mundane fun of capturing those moments. It's
Yeah.
pardon.
Pardon.
That's
I agree.
what it is.
I agree. I did a Steve Martin bit, in a sense, very recently. I was in a hot tub at the town pool with a bunch of kids, and one of them told me that it was their birthday. This little boy named Charlie, who I had been playing with all day. We were having a great time. And I go, "All right, everybody, let's sing the happy birthday song." And I go, "Happy birthday." And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "No, this is the birthday song. Happy birthday. You know it. Sing with me." And that's a very Steve Martin thing.
Yeah.
Sing with me. What are you, uptight?
Everybody.
Happy birthday. It was murdering with children. They absolutely loved it.
That's hilarious.
And that's what he did with Rambling Guy, obviously.
Yes, you're right.
Well, come on,
That's
sing
what-
with me. What are you, uptight? I'm a rambling guy. It's such
That's
a
so
great bit.
good.
Such a great bit. You had a problem with the happy birthday
Oh,
song.
the problem I have with the happy birthday song is that nobody can sing it in tune, and it makes me so angry especially when I'm at a school
Yeah.
where teachers are in charge. I mean, it's less of an issue with my exact friends because so many people can actually sing, but that people don't realize there's a melody. Like I used to I used to go to my son's preschool, and we'd be at circle time, and they would sing songs together, and not happy birthday necessarily, but it would be I don't know, not Wheels on the Bus, but something like Wheels on the Bus, where you just know the melody, and the teacher would lead it. Great teacher, really, really sweet. And at the end of it, I'm like, is there a melody? I didn't mean to be passive aggressive, but I was literally like, is there a melody for this song that the kids are supposed to be singing? Like what's the melody?
Yeah.
Because then I could maybe make my voice a little louder, like the one in tune or something. To guide. They're like, and they would sing me the melody, and I'm like, that melody is like impossible. What they're singing, like, and I was like the worst passive aggressive mom, kind of like, but angry at the school. Like, why can't they sing songs with melodies?
Can I say, sometimes children will tell me jokes they made up, and I humorlessly go, "That doesn't work." Like, obviously, I know I'm being kind of funny, but I'm like, no, you should say, you can't say the punchline in the setup. Like, you have to, like, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
But, like, there is a part of me that's, like, dead serious.
Yeah, you're completely serious. You're like, what? Yeah, that's like, I get in trouble in my house. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's funny.
That's a
I'm that
comedian
person.
laughing.
I'm sorry. I'm like, that's funny. Yeah, that's funny.
I'm so lucky that I'm married to a laugher and a sustained laugher. I've dated women, no shots fired, who are laughers for the first year. And then it's just like, it's the classic. It's like you used to laugh at me like that.
You don't bring me flowers. You don't laugh at. You can never laugh at me.
Well, Weezer. I want a girl who will laugh for no one else. That's the most honest male song I've ever heard. And I'm not proud of it. But like, I think there's something kind of brave about that song.
Be the most yourself you can be. That's the only thing that makes you different.
Well, I'm totally with you. And Rivers Cuomo, more than others.
Who I was rumored to have dated.
Is that right?
I never dated him. But when I met him, I
Are
said...
you a Cuomo-sexual?
Well, he's very smart.
Well, he's a good-looking man. And very talented.
He looks like Rivers.
And you have glasses.
And we have glasses. So with the first time I met him at a BMI function...
Wow.
I said to him...
This is the new J
Nice
date.
to meet you. I know. Hey. I know. I always think of ways people should meet other people, including like women, single women. I'm like, go to Whole Foods and shop in the really expensive... Go to the expensive like salad bar.
Truffles.
Yeah, stand there at the bread aisle. Because if a guy's there shopping, he's probably single and he can afford to buy stuff at Whole Foods.
Speed agree.
Or
I think that's great advice.
Golf tournament, sign guys in at the volunteer booth at the fancy golf tournament.
I think that's great.
Another good place to meet men.
Here's a pro tip from a vulnerable, insecure. All men are secret babies.
Yeah. I think all people are. Honestly.
All people are.
People are
I think that's
insecure.
great. Thank you. You're absolutely right.
But especially men.
A lot of men.
Like you.
A lot of men like me. And a lot of guys I know tend to meet women in situations where they're feeling lit up.
Yeah.
So if I'm grocery shopping, it's usually because I'm having a good day. If I'm getting a haircut, it means I'm having a good day. That's why a lot of guys I know fall in love with their hair makeup people. That's a thing.
And you're yourself. I think it's because
on set, you're being yourself.
You're being yourself.
You're having fun too. It's like that's a very social thing.
It's not so fun to get hair and makeup sometimes, but you're being yourself. That's why it works.
I've never dated a hair and makeup person, but I get it.
Yeah,
There's something
you're being
about
yourself.
When I have dated people that I worked with.
That's why people date their best friends, because they were around somebody being themselves.
Yeah. And it's fun to be in a creative space.
And somebody has vetted them date already because your best friend was dating that person. So they vetted.
There you go.
But that's not what I'm saying. But
I also
for sure
like
it's the
meeting at shows and stuff. We're on the show together. We're probably like somewhat similar.
And you're backstage. You're just like...
Yeah.
It's like...
Oh, and you're nervous too. That helps. It's like you're nervous because you're going to go on.
I don't
so
like
you're
talking
all
to people
juiced up.
before I go on. I say all this
neither.
stuff. And if it's somebody who's kind of like person on the street, not... Even somebody who's like a musician will be like, no, don't worry. You're going to be fine. I'm like, I know. Yeah. I know I'm just... Or you come off stage, you're like, oh, this happened and that happened. And they're like, no, but everybody loved it. I'm like, I know. But that's not this
you're talking my language.
And then you feel like a jerk because you don't want to be like... You don't want to. You're like,
trying
no,
it's mojo.
okay.
It's mojo. I can't have someone tell me I'm going to be okay. I'm trying to find the part of me that knows I'm going to be okay.
It's funny. The rabbi talked about this with me because I said I get you get nervous, you get self-conscious and nervous sometimes before you go on stage, especially when you're working things out, figuring out what you're going to do. And he's like, what I do, he said, when I feel like I think I'm not going to do a great job teaching or whatever, I'm like, well, have I done a bad job? Has people ever come away and said like that was really bad?
Yeah.
And I'm like. He's like, maybe once or twice, but generally, no. People usually give really good feedback.
That's
I'm like,
it.
Yeah.
He's so good.
I know.
That reality is a really good one. And that reminds me actually
Seeing
of trauma
things as
work.
they are.
I'll be having a traumatic response to something. And that sounds really fancy. It just means I'm having an overreaction.
Yeah.
And I'll go, just look at reality. That's not your parents fighting. That's a dog barking. Easier said than done. But just the first step is to acknowledge it and go like, I think I'm going to do badly. Saying, do you do badly is very powerful.
Generally do badly?
Yeah.
No, generally people are really happy. Even if you had to like do something at the last minute and not even know that you were about to go up there.
That's right.
I had to give a speech once at E-Television. I had a reality show and I went in for a meeting.
Leave Me a Loeb?
And they had it was called Number One Single. It was a dating show, but it wasn't a game show.
And that's where you met Rivers?
And I was one of the producers. Nope, I didn't meet him. But I said, maybe I sort of met him through the show, but not through the show at all.
But never dated him?
No.
Say it ain't so.
My husband? No.
I thought we were talking about Rivers Cuomo.
Oh, Rivers Cuomo. So when I met Rivers, I said, how is it going? We supposedly dated. And he's like, yeah, we joked about it.
Oh, fun.
Joked about it. But I always have to mention it if I see him, which is maybe 3 times.
And that's what Buddy Holly is about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We both have our glasses.
Glasses.
But so I'm like, anyway. So I go into this meeting and it's one of those like huge conference rooms with a table. There's like 30 people in there and they're like, all right, Lisa, why don't you take the floor? I had to give a speech.
Wow.
All of a sudden I had to give a speech.
That's happened to me a couple times. And it was
you're
fine.
like, so anyway, I'm giving a speech and I'm glad I had to give a speech when I was in 5th grade because now I give speeches.
I was at an event promoting Crashing and I used to go to the TV show I did and I used to go to these things
Yeah.
kind of like an anxiety management device would be, I just wouldn't really think about it. You know, like it's
Right.
like, oh, there's an event. It's a premiere.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'll
You have
just
to give
go.
the speech to make everybody in the world like it or hate it. And if they don't like your speech,
Well,
then
that's
you're going
what
to
it would
ruin
be.
everything.
Well, even worse, I would realize I'm at an event where everyone from HBO is here and all
Right.
the producers
so
are
if
here.
they don't even like this show, they might pick you up for another show. But if they don't like you this one time,
Even worse and even more, just
like,
in
even
the
worse.
room.
Oh,
Will I remember their names?
Oh,
Because
God.
I'm not
I'm
just
not gonna
giving a
remember anybody's
speech.
name.
I'm supposed to say, thank you, Casey.
Oh, God. You have to have that all written down.
I don't know it. And I'm
I can't
looking
do
and I
any of
just
that. I'm
realized,
like,
and you
thank
just like
the
make a
man
joke.
in that yellow hat.
Thank you, Amy Garrett. I knew two. And
all the rest
thank
of
you,
you.
Judd, and you know who you are.
You literally said, you know who you are. I had an aunt come up to me at a party once. They said, hi, how are you, Lisa? Good
And
to
you were
see
like,
you. You don't
"Nice
know who
to
I
meet a
am, do you?
fan."
And I'm like, of course I know who you are. Tell me my name. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
I don't. You should have said the C word. That was it. I almost said it, but that's for you to
can
call
you
your aunt.
believe it?
Yeah, I hate
That's
that.
also why I say my full name when I see anybody, even like my parents. I'm like, hi, Lisa
Look,
Loeb here.
I've been thinking it every time you mentioned it. Okay, I know Conan well enough now that I don't do it anymore. But I had been on Conan.
And you're his same height.
I know.
I'm like a foot and a half shorter than both of you guys.
You can't be remembering these little things. At the time, I had probably been on
Are
the
there
show
even people down there? Yeah.
6 times.
Yeah.
I'd still say, hi, Conan, it's Pete Holmes. I've been on your show. Every time. Of course.
No, but
That man's life is like a chat roulette.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know what's
I
going on.
want to make his life easy.
That's exactly right.
I don't want to
And
embarrass
you know
him in
what?
front of all these people,
If you want
all the
Conan
aunts and
or
uncles.
anybody like that to like, if you want Lisa Loeb to like you, aunt,
Say
uncle,
your name.
just say, hi, I'm your aunt.
And let me say,
fucking whatever.
of course I remember you.
You know
Pete
what?
Holmes.
By the way, look, this comes up a lot on the show because I think it's like a public person thing. But if someone ever comes up to me and goes, you don't remember me, do you? It's always they say, it was 17 years ago and you were drunk. And I'm like, well, fuck you then. Like, fuck you.
Actually, this happened to me in a school party, again, with parents from one of my kids' schools. It was right at the end of COVID, so we were still wearing masks. I had not met anyone in person. There was a parent meeting, and I said to one of the head parents, I said, next time, can we have name tags? I'm really bad with names. And and then one of the moms standing next to me said, well, you know my name. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, I don't. I have a memory problem and I don't know. And I'm sorry. She's like, and she said her name. And I may even whacked her on the shoulder, like in a gentle but hard way, like whack, like, oh, come on, don't be rude. I might have said like, oh, come on, don't put me on the spot like that. So now if somebody says to me, do you remember me? I'm like, you know what? Can you remind me?
Yeah.
Or I make it really medical, like I'm really having trouble with my memory these days.
That's very
like
good.
to make them feel really sad for me.
Like, can you remind me?
Can you remind me?
The tenderness to go like, you know what I love, just as a phrase? Remind me your first name. Sometimes I say first name as
and
if
I'll
I
be
remember their last
so
name.
embarrassed.
Remind me your first
or
name.
it's
because I got the middle and the last.
Here's the special one, which is also when I do know somebody and I cannot remember their name. Some of my fans who are so dear, and I've been meeting them for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And they stand in the autograph line for an hour and a half, and they wait till the very end so that they can be last and talk to me for longer. And they're like, "Yeah, just make it to me." And I'm like, oh, I can't ask them their name.
But
I can say, remind me how you spell it. Ben. I literally, the same person who I hire as the shusher, I'm like, can you please go over to that person?
No,
I know who they are. I know where they're from. I know the name of their cat. They're really nice. They brought me this thing last time they were here.
Yeah.
Can you please figure out what their name is, or give them a Post-it and have them write their name? Like the most awkward situations. I can't remember my siblings' friends' names sometimes.
Of course.
There's so many people, and in my brain
Lisa, I'm a parent.
I can't remember.
And I'm in a community of parents. That means every one of my daughter's friends has 2 grown-ups with them that I'm supposed to remember their name at least. Sometimes I don't know their name. Guess what? That's not how I love you. That's not how I love you. You know what I do remember? What we laughed about.
Exactly.
And I'm going to build on that.
Yes.
And I remember like what we talked about.
Yes.
And you want me to remember Phil? Fuck you, Phil. And I'm spelling both of those with a PH.
An F. No, I know. I can't remember.
Yeah, who cares?
What I want to do, and I think it would be a really good, I always have some inventions, but one of the inventions is that there should be metal name tags with your name etched on it. Mm-hmm. And It's a magnet.
Like the Rhythm Nation?
Yes, like live. No, your name should be. It's my name is.
Yeah.
It's a my name is piece of jewelry. You wear it.
Yeah.
It has a magnet on the back.
Like a
You
dog
wear it
tag.
everywhere.
Yeah.
You just wear it. It has your name on it. It may have your child's name on it that you can remove. So when you're at any meeting and anyone sees you, they're like, "Hi, Pete."
By the way, I was just doing a thing and everyone had lanyards. It was
And they're down
such
here.
a...
You're like, "Hi."
No, what I'll do, we'll talk and then just a little...
I try that.
Same strategy
yeah.
for looking at butts.
And then, yeah, like a little. I see that look. I see that look. What I also know that, like, you know, right before you're at an event, like the BMI event, and you're like, oh, that's that guy. Oh, that's Pete Holmes. Wait, remind me, is he married? And then you Google him. And then you go over to say hi. And then by the end of the conversation, they're like, well, let me give you I want you to have my number. And you go to put the person's number on your phone and their Google page shows up. Because you've just been Googling. And then now I just say, I've been Googling you. You just say it. You're like, I was just Googling you. I couldn't remember if you had
wonderful friend Matt and I were having dinner before a show recently, and I saw it all happen. I just want everyone to know I saw it all. I saw an older couple recognize me. I saw them go on their phone. I saw my fucking fat face on their phone. They're Googling me.
It's not a good picture.
And exactly. And then they come over and they go, Pete Holmes. And then they say your Wikipedia. I love that you are the voice of the E-Trade baby. I'm like, guy.
Wait, that's a misprint. That wasn't me. Yeah.
Actually, could you change that?
You put some fake things in there.
Alanis Morissette?
Alanis, yeah.
Do you know her?
Yeah.
I'm just throwing you people
Not
from
really
the 90s.
well, but I do know her, and I met her backstage. I met her a few different times. She's been very nice when I met her backstage, hung out with her and her
seems
husband.
cool. I like Alanis
I've been hearing
Morissette.
this grammar a lot. I hung out with her and her husband. That would have driven me crazy. It should be I hung out with her husband and her.
Oh, but I like what you're doing.
But you say I hung out with her and her husband because
You
her husband was
shouldn't headline
secondary
the husband.
in that. I know, but that's not really grammatically what we
Yeah,
learned
but I
growing up.
feel like-
but anyway,
yeah.
she's really talented. I saw her play while I was watching her play.
By
I
the
met
way-
Serena Williams.
Look, what? Katie cares. I'll
Serena?
go with that.
Oh gosh, now I'm embarrassed. Was
The
it Serena
tennis
Williams?
player?
One of the tennis players, the sisters. Was it Venus?
I'm going to say if you have to play You Ought to Know or Stay.
Venus. I meant Venus. I'm sorry, not
It's
Serena.
okay.
Venus was a big fan, and she was really sweet and really tall.
I'm picking Stay 1,000 times over having to sing You Ought to Know.
Because music's a competition. You should choose one or the other.
No. I'm only talking about exertion and vocal.
Oh, that's
aid.
hard, man.
Yeah.
Stay is really hard too, I will say.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's easy.
Dave Grohl learned it. He said it was a really hard song to learn. But it's hard to
wow.
sing too.
Yeah. Wait,
But-
which part is the worst?
It gets really, really high.
No,
I'm like, yeah. There's like a yeah. You say I hear, and I'm playing all these guitar licks.
It does have
I
a
got sick
complicated
once,
intro.
and I was playing it, and I did a thing where I was playing with the whole orchestra. It was this big gig, and I was playing with an orchestra, and my voice was gone, like especially in certain places.
Yeah.
And I didn't know
Nightmare.
about like prednisone, like
Is that what they do?
steroid shots or something to get. It was just gone. That part of my voice was gone, and I had to sing that song. And so I would say, "You say," stick the mic in the audience, and you say.
Oh,
Just
my
put, and I want to
God.
do that one day for the national anthem. Oh, say, can you? And then you just point, completely point the mic at the audience. Right? Like if you forget if
People would
it's
be
fight
mad.
or night. Like what if it's fight? Like it's so scary. Have you ever had to sing the national anthem?
No. Whenever
It's one of the
people,
scariest things in
it
the
goes
entire
viral that someone blew it.
Because
I'm
it's
like,
the worst-
it's the hardest
it's not the
song
worst.
to
It's a
sing.
hard
It's
song
the
to
hardest
sing.
song to sing. That
And
is
you
the
get
answer.
confused. I had to sing it once because somebody, is it me you're looking for? Who is that?
Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie was supposed to sing it in Dallas. I was in Dallas for a concert. Lionel Richie couldn't do it at the last minute. So they're like, Lisa's in town. Maybe she could do it. So I said, sure. And then on the way there, I'm like, oh
What
my
am I
God, what if
doing?
I mess up? Like,
Yeah.
is it fight? Is it night? Like, which rhyme is it? Oh, say, can
Michael
you see by
Bolton, didn't he write it on his hand? Was it Michael Bolton?
And I was like, oh gosh, what if I mess it? This will be the worst thing ever. And I'm not going to do all those frills. I can't do that. I'm just going to be like a third grader singing the song. Like that's my style.
I don't like it.
Just plain. So I asked my tour manager who knows lyrics to everything. I said, let's practice me messing up and you're standing next to me and I mess up and you say night and I say night, like let's plan messing up and see if I can fix it really quickly.
Yeah.
And then we get there and I had the key. I put it in the lowest key possible. I had a little recorder that had the note that I would start on. Because I'm a cappella.
Nightmare.
I had to walk out into the middle of I don't watch sports. You have to I didn't know you had to walk out into the middle of the court by yourself with a microphone
I hate this.
to sing the song. And so I just pretended I was confident. I pretended I was
good.
doing musical theater. And I just sang as powerfully. Oh, say. We're standing, by the way, right now. Can you see? It was the most frightening. The dawn's early light.
Dawn has light, not fight.
What's so
Proudly we hailed
at the
twilight's light. Did we just skip a section?
No.
Whose broad stripes and
Thank you, welcome my world. Stars through the perilous night fight. I don't know. That's the crossword word.
Ramparts.
The ramparts. It sounds like something you'd eat. No.
Ramparts.
Right? Like sounds like ramps. Ramps?
He gave me his ramparts.
Oh.
Okay. How do you
That's
go?
like a different kind of crossword. That's a great clue.
Ramparts we watched were so gallant. I'm going to say this. That song, the whole time you're singing it, because I just was, feels like you're forgetting a part.
Yeah.
The whole part.
Yeah. And it's slow. And then you're like, did I just say that word? And then it gets difficult. This is the mountain. Then you're like, oh God, why did I choose this song? Not only did I don't remember the words, but now I'm singing high.
Yeah, now you're really.
Now you're like high. Bursting
gave proof to the night through the night.
See, you would have messed up. Oh, that embarrassing Pete Holmes. He doesn't even know the words.
Ooh, and it seems like you're a bad patriot.
Yeah, you're so.
Say does that star spangled banner.
You're like, oh God, thank God, it's almost over.
You're thinking of Whitney Houston.
Let wave. And you're like, or again, or the land of the free. I like, please. It was so embarrassing.
And then you gotta love it in the home of the brave because you're almost done.
Oh, thank God.
Of the
please clap. Brave. Thank you. And then you smile like you're really, really happy.
God bless America. You get really into it.
Yeah, I don't say God. I just like
G-D bless America.
America is blessed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Blessed.
That's
I know.
just a fact.
It's all backwards.
Well.
Blessed. You could use my. Bless you.
I said thank you before you were even done saying bless you.
Yeah.
Well, this was delightful. Let me look at my notes because maybe I had a great
I forgot.
crackerback question.
Backrack?
Burt
Backrack.
Ethan Hawke was your neighbor.
He was my neighbor, yeah.
Who cares?
He was my neighbor.
So you lived in the same building?
We lived across the street. It was cool. It was like he lived in a building where you could literally open the windows and be like, hey, Lisa, yeah, should we go down and get the, grilled cheese?
Were you taken with him?
Yeah. I mean, that's prime
He
was
Hawk.
one of my favorite.
Prime Hawk.
Well, he was in that movie.
Before Sunrise.
No. This was before that. It was during college. I saw it twice because I loved it so much.
I wish I had said after Sunrise because then if you said it was before that, I could have said before Sunrise. Ethan Hawke.
It was Dead Poets Society.
Dead Poets Society.
He had been in that movie, and he was also in a movie called Alive about a soccer team who's on an airplane that crashes.
Oh, and he eats them.
And
They eat a butt.
It's very cheeky. Yeah. And so the two different movies were mostly guys because one was about an all-boys school, and the other one, like Ileana Douglas, was on the Alive movie, but otherwise it was all guys. So one of my friends who was an actor from college was friends with Ethan from Alive. And so I ended up meeting all these guy actors. And he's just such a great actor. And also he's like an artist, an artiste. He likes to read and do poetry. And he had his theater company and his friend, all these interesting friends. We all hung out together. And
are you still friends?
Friendly. We're not talking on the phone.
You're like him and Duchovny.
Like we see each other. We're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah. Fuck.
It's all right.
Well, I was going to bother you to put me in touch with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, a lot of people asked me to put me in touch with Ethan Hawke.
I actually wasn't going to until I realized I wasn't going to.
Because what are you going to say to him?
Do my podcast.
Oh yes. See now with the podcast
because people send like clips of him answering about like what happens when you die, and they're like he'd be a great guest, not just a celebrity grab.
Yeah. No, he likes to think about things.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's like musicians. We're never asked to talk on anything because we don't know how to talk. We're only musicians, so please don't put them on the couch. Is what they used to say.
Yeah.
And then they'd have actors.
Same
on the
with
couch.
actors a little bit.
But they don't say that about actors. They have actors on.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they have so much to say.
Little anecdote. about the time you met Darius Rucker.
Oh, Darius
Was there
Rucker.
an early version of Stay where the lyrics were different?
No.
Really?
It was a well-crafted song.
Oh, wow.
It was a song I wrote, which means, I wrote it and I rewrote it, wrote it and wrote it.
Daryl Hall, right?
I tried to write it for Daryl Hall, which is why the melody is the way it is and the groove of it is like
Yeah.
a Sarah Smile kind of song.
Yeah.
I did get to sing it with Daryl Hall recently.
Cute.
Oh my gosh. And Rich Girl, I got to sing with Daryl Hall.
And Rich Garlic?
She's a rich girl.
You sang Rich Girl.
Yeah,
Fun.
I know.
Dating
cute
a
and
musician versus dating a normal. Is it the same as comedians? Like there are all these benefits until it doesn't work?
Oh, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. I have friends who are married to musicians and
Gross.
like
Well, you said
good.
Amy Mann is
oh
married
yeah.
to a
Like if
musician.
somebody's a producer and somebody's a musician. I think two songwriters who are primarily songwriters. When I
Yeah.
dated songwriters, it's like probably like a comedian. Like I
I
don't
have
want to
that?
see you working on bits.
Yeah.
Like I wrote it down
What
first.
if you go, I pretended to be confident and I'm like, can I have that?
Yeah, exactly. But it's seriously, it's like
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
this feel. Or I remember I dated someone in college who was a musician who I'm still friends with, and
Cute.
he just had a different process than me. Like he would be sitting writing songs all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, it's just a dagger to my heart. I feel so bad,
Oh,
that I'm
interesting.
not doing it, or that.
No, bad.
Oh, and then there's also no bad. It's too It's like even if you don't want it to be competitive,
Well,
it
you have the
feels-
same compulsion.
It's too much. It's
Yeah.
too much. But it's fun sometimes when, they are a producer and they know how to, I don't know, or play an instrument that's supportive to your
Well, when I was dating
musicianship
a comedian and they would point out something I said was really funny, like what my best bit at that time in my life was because I wish I could say her name, but she kind of doesn't like when I highlight that we used to date. But anyway, she said, that's hilarious. And it became like my signature bit. And I was like, that's what's great about dating a comedian.
Somebody knows it when they
Somebody
see it.
knows.
But then also you feel guilty when you're just about to take a bite of a sandwich and you say something, you're like, I was just going to sit and watch a show, when you really should go write a song.
Oh, that's interesting. You have the guilt.
The guilt. There's so much guilt.
I got a double dose of like, fuck you. You should do it how I do it.
Oh, no.
It's grotesque.
That's terrible too.
No, you would love it.
I don't want
No, you
anything
keep
to do
it to
with
yourself,
it.
then nobody needs
show
to
me how to
know.
hammer nails or like
What?
show me. I want somebody to like show me other things that aren't
do you
in
mean?
my world. I don't want to date somebody who's telling me how to do what I do.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant.
I know
meant,
that's what you're. Oh, you did it to them?
No.
They would do it to you. That's
No,
terrible.
no one could tell me, like if we were both
Yeah.
comedians and we were married
Yeah.
and you were always writing jokes, I'd be like, that's stupid.
Oh, God,
that's what I mean.
Terrible.
What do you mean? Quietly, privately, inside.
Yeah, but that's a terrible thing to carry around all the time.
You carried around, I should be writing jokes. That seems way worse.
They're all bad. I don't even want to think. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, let's talk about the grocery list.
I'm with you there. And I'm also think the value of this podcast can be weighed on the single piece of advice. If you're a single lady or a single man, go to Whole Foods.
Go to Whole
That's the
Foods
place
in the
to
most
meet.
expensive bread department.
I also
not the
think
one
it's
where you're like
life.
difficult to take care of.
Yeah,
Not like
yeah,
the
yeah.
high maintenance bread department.
No.
But like the salad bar.
I agree.
The salad bar.
I also think there's something going on when you're buying food. You're thinking about the future. You're thinking about abundance. You're like
Oh, that's
open.
nice. Yeah.
There's life. Like
Yeah.
a plant in the room and the writer's room is good. There should be something living. There's all this produce and stuff. It's very, as opposed to like a bank.
Oh yeah, don't go to a bank.
No, the pens are chained down. You want to be chained down too?
That's where you're gonna meet your husband. Yeah, I wouldn't. I would not date if somebody had to start fresh. Do not date your same profession.
I agree.
Unless you maybe
Unless you want one really great bit out of it. And you know what? I'd do it all again for
Can
the
I
bit.
ask you a quick question? How do you feel doing 2 shows in one night? I hate it because
Yeah,
there
of
are
course.
certain songs I have to repeat.
Yeah.
That I like to repeat. That's one of the reasons I have requests to make every show different.
Yep.
But after watching Lyle Lovett that year in the early 90s and realizing he had stories he would tell and they were really good. And then he would tell them again the same way another night. And I was like, it's okay. You don't have to make up everything new every night. You can
that's
you
what
can
show
work on
business is.
stuff. But I didn't realize that. But then every once in a while now there's like, you have to do 2 sets in one night, or you
for the
have
same
to,
audience?
No, hopefully that's
Yeah,
the thing.
no,
You don't
yeah.
know. You see the same fans in the audience. They've driven to Minneapolis, and then they've driven
They're
to
going
like
to go to both?
Yeah.
Oh, Loeb
It's-
heads?
How do you feel? Yeah.
Yeah.
Loeb heads, lobsters,
The Loeb lobsters?
They're called the Loeb.
Lobsters.
I was on the Sarah Silverman show, and they called them the Loeb. What did they call them?
Out of Lobes?
There was like a group called the Loeb somethings. There was like a band, and they called it. I don't remember what they're called. Anyway, so the fans have some name. But anyway, what do you do? How do you feel? What do you do? There's the same people sitting up front.
That's what the money is for. Not when the same people are sitting in front, but when I just have to do the same show. I think everybody knows both shows are going to be the same, more or less.
Because it works so well.
Yeah,
there's
well,
differences here and there, but it's so fun when it falls in that pocket.
It's a hoax.
And you get to tell that story.
Yes.
Oh, it's so fun.
It's a benevolent hoax, like all of it.
So you just are okay. You're like, whatever.
No, for me, it's the fatigue. I don't like doing a show and saving energy. I sometimes say it on stage. I go, like, I hate doing 2 shows at night. It feels like I have a date after this date. Yeah, it's like unholy. It's
like
incorrect.
one show.
Me too.
But even when you see the same fans at another show, I mean, I think of certain comedians I've seen, and I am like that. I used to be like that with Bill Cosby. But, there's certain bits you're like, I want to hear that.
There's
I want to hear them tell that story.
If people come, we were just in Texas, actually. It might have been Dallas.
I think we might have missed each other, yeah.
And somebody was like, we loved the first show so much we came to the late show. And I was glad because I did bits that I didn't do in the first show. And there were bits that worked better. You see how collaborative it is. Like that joke did better, not because I was better, but because it was better. Like everything was just better. And I'm glad you got to see it twice.
Yeah. I need to get over it though, because I get in my head, I'm like, oops, the slow timer. It's like the slow clap of the timers. I have the same one. It's like, you are about to go to sleep. Or
I like a gentle one.
Yeah.
If you have radial as your, like, why don't you just fucking lick a car battery, you fucking psycho? Be gentle with yourself.
Like, wait.
That's called slow rise, baby, and it's under classics.
Yeah. Classics are good.
I do have to go. That's what that timer is.
Yes.
You're divine. I could talk to you forever. Don't check your texts.
Oh.
Don't
Sorry.
do it.
I'm like,
don't do it. What is it?
It says,
what is it?
Tracy Bonham. Do you know she's a musician? She's a great musician.
Tracy Chapman?
Tracy Bonham.
Greg who?
Tracy Bonham.
That's a 2-hour callback.
She's a great musician. She had a song called Mother, Mother that you know from the 90s. She's a great musician. And she texted me that she loves the Doodlin' song, which is my newest single that's out, that I do a tap dance solo in it because I love tap dancing.
Fun.
And I said, thank you so much. And she said, you're cute. And I said, oh, yeah, thank you so much. I like that. I like cute stuff.
It's a very cute, the kid record's very, very cute in the best way.
Yeah, there's like 12 of them, but you'll find out with your children.
Look, when I went on Apple Music and the latest release, that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, good. That's some old-timey songs.
What's it called?
That's what it's all about.
What's the name of the record, though?
That's what it's called.
What's the name of it?
That's what it's. I saw that as a bumper sticker once. Is that what it's all about? And I always have loved that. But that's what it's all about.
Oh, I like that. Is that what it's all about?
Yeah.
It's like there's a T-shirt I know that says that I've seen that says certainly not everyone was kung fu fighting.
I like the one that says I did it. I let the dogs out.
I like anything like that.
Do you know, I have a shirt. Maybe you'll partner with me in this shirt.
Oh.
It's an I'm with the Lord shirt.
Do
not steal this. Somebody's going to steal this idea.
They won't.
It's a line drawing of the seagulls flying, the waves, line drawing, the parable, the 2 sets of footprints, and then only one set of footprints.
Yeah.
And it just says, I'm with the Lord in Galveston. I'm with the Lord in St. Pete's. You can make one for every beach.
I'm with the Lord. Oh, that's fun.
Wouldn't that be really good?
You could make hundreds of dollars.
I can make $7 on the 2 people who bought it. I could spend like $2,000 getting it made.
What's your net worth? Thank you, Lisa Loeb.
Thank you so much. I'm with the Lord with Pete Holmes.
You were a pleasure. Would you say keep it crispy? It's how we end.
Keep it crispy.
That's show business. You just say it. Just fucking say it.
I just said it. Keep it
crispy.
No,
I know. You did it
I said it. Are you going to eat the sandwich?
You made it weird. You